Hey everybody, this is Stemmage from Metroid Metal. Welcome to the first episode of the Gaming Outsider in 2025, the Game of the Year celebration. Once again, Scott, Zack, Jacob, CB, and Alyssa asked me to join them as we discuss the most important news stories from the past 12 months, our predictions for the coming year, and our personal favorite titles from this past year. And yes, we've done the tally. I'm the only one that knows the Gaming Outsider's #1 game of 2024. I've done the math, and the math is good. We'll finish things up with the community's decision for the top game of 2024. Is everyone ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I think you are. This is the Gaming Outsider.
Greetings, programs, and welcome to the Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends. A lot of them this time. First off, Mr. Zack Parkerson. What's up, man?
Hey, how do you do?
And Jacob Gunderson.
Hello.
Chris Behrensmeyer.
Hi.
Alyssa White.
Hi, I'm back on YouTube.
And our special guest this week. He comes back for every Game of the Year episode. So excited to be talking to him again. Stemmage himself, Grant Henry. How's it going, man?
It's going great. It's that most wonderful time of the... Nope, too late for that. Happy New Year. Nope, too late for that.
There.
Welcome to the Game of the Year party.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Is our first episode of the year. We're kicking off the new year by having our annual Game of the Year discussion. We'll be recapping gaming in the last year, talk about our most memorable news stories, make some predictions for the coming year, and discuss our personal and combined games of the year. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Also, we are live on YouTube. Right now, we are on YouTube. This is the first time we've ever done a live recording. So if you were here, thank you for watching this live. We've never done this, and not really sure what to do. I guess I had to put pants on this time. But
No, you don't. No one wears pants on YouTube.
There's no pants. That's why we're all from the waist up.
Paul Hine is here. He says, "Woot Grant, awesome."
Woot Paul.
Yes.
Woot Paul.
So I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 with him and Kevin for over a year now. We're still getting through that. I'll finish it some year. That should be my New Year's resolution, to get through Baldur's Gate 3 by the end of the year. But
Baldur's Gate 3, Game of the Year every year.
Hey.
2035.
Well, before we get into the Game of the Year goodness, let's talk about some games we've been catching up on. Grant, you're not here every week, so we really don't know what you've been playing. What have you been playing lately?
A couple things. I am slowly making my way through Indiana Jones. It's a game that came out later this year. A little late to hit lists. I don't know. We'll see how much it shows up tonight. It was kind of it was a December game. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's a little clunky. I feel like it's the most Indiana Jones thing I've ever experienced that isn't a movie. It's on brand, but like it just feels a little. The combat's a little. But it's great. I'm gonna finish it. It's a fun adventure. I just sometimes wish I wasn't playing it.
I think
makes any sense.
I think the clunkiness is part of the appeal.
Maybe it is.
I
Maybe
think
it is.
Yeah.
Andy, he's stumbling his way through Nazi encampments in the movies.
That's true. Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
so
kind of
just
him.
a little bit of
Whoa.
It's got that energy.
It's a feature, is what you're saying, Zach?
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
It's not a
Feature.
But
Shout
boy, it's pretty, and they really nail the music and the branding and the whole thing. I'm really impressed. But yeah, Indiana, I went through Monument Valley 3. I had heard somewhere that it had come out on mobile on Netflix games, and so I do have Netflix, so I gave it a shot. Always a cool mobile puzzle experience. And then I played Pinball Spire. I think we talked about this, Scott, but I never actually had played it, and I really liked it. I thought it was like oh no, not a fan. Right. It was like 3-4 hours, pretty short. I thought it was cool. So I knocked those out recently. Those are my games.
Awesome, man. I'm glad you like Pinball Spire, because you're a pinball guy for sure. So I'm glad. Yeah, just a cute little game. Like, I want more, right? It's just
totally.
It's like to get enough to whet my appetite, as it were. Jacob, what about you, man? I know you've been on on a tear, trying to get through as many games as you can before the end of the year.
So I did our last episode a few weeks back. I did Not Another Crab's Treasure. Since then, I've done about 40 hours of Pacific Drive. I did 30 hours in Warhammer 40K Space Marines 2, and I'm on 20 hours in Dragon Dogma 2.
You're crushing it.
Wow.
I just before the show, I wanted to have a base knowledge of what I was going into.
Nice.
And I'm forgetting the games I played previously, playing the new games because there's all this new stuff that I have to remember now.
Pacific Drive is one I've been really curious to check out. My friend Mike told me about that one and said that I would like it a lot.
So a few weeks back, I had made a comment about how I do not understand how that game is going to get a show. And after playing it and like nearly beating it, I can completely understand why that game is going to get a show. It is awesome. I love the story. Even while I'm playing new games, I'm still constantly thinking of that game.
Wow. Isn't that the one they're making into a movie as well?
It's a TV show, but yeah.
TV show? Okay.
If you were listening to him when he talked, you would have known that.
Yeah, he did. He mentioned it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. We are live. We can't go back.
Thing like a show on it was making a showing on the Game Awards. That's what I thought you were saying.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a good
TV show.
Good recovery.
I know. I really did think that's what he was saying. Okay. All right. What about the other two? Dragon's Dogma 2 is one I didn't touch and I was curious about, but I never played the original.
It's going good so far. There's a lot to it. There was more than I knew there was going to be a lot in it, but there's more than I thought there was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I only thought there was going to be X amount of classes, and it turns out there are a couple of classes that you just have to find in the world. And so I'm excited to run around and find these new classes and figure out what those do for the character and how they incorporate into your little team. Because in the I don't remember how many little teammates you could have in Dragon's Dogma 1, but this one you can have 3, and so you've got you want to have a different skill set among your team. So I was playing the healer for myself because I wanted to play the mage, but the mage is more healing than it is attack. So I went to the sorcerer, which is more attack but has no healing. So in my team I had to incorporate a healer to save my own butt because I like pressing headlong even though I'm a wizard, which is scary sometimes because that game is really unforgiving.
Yeah, aren't wizards squishy by
yes.
default? Yeah.
Yes, but
do they really just call you recruit over and over again in that game? Like, hey, recruit, get over here.
If you I didn't know that you could actually add your own name. I went to a level below it, which you pick like a title name or whatever. And so if the default is Arisen, and so
okay,
they call me Arisen all the time. So
and Warhammer, I dabbled in that for just like an hour or two, and really was enjoying what I played, but I didn't stick with it. Just too many other things to get caught up on. How are you liking that?
I like the story. I played through the story. I dabbled a little bit in the multiplayer, but the multiplayer is just having you replay the story missions over again, but with a custom character.
Oh, okay.
And so once I got done with the story, I was like, well, I really don't need to go back and play these again, but I wanted to know what it was. But you have to get so many kills with a class, a weapon, or or whatever to upgrade them. And with me trying to get through other games, I didn't want to take the time to sit around and kill 150 enemies with a certain gun.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know CB is big on the Warhammer universe. He's been reading the books and he's been talking about it every time he gets a chance to. And I went into that game knowing absolutely nothing about the universe. And holy cow, does that game make me want to get into that? Just the whole space marine, but they're medieval knights almost. Yeah. It's just such a cool setting that I want to get into it, but I'm also scared too because of how much content there is.
Oh, yeah. I knew just a little bit going into that game. That game sparked my interest big time. So,
well, hey, while we're on UCB, what have you been catching up on? Fresh from Las Vegas, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't even been back in town for 24 hours yet. Played a little Indiana Jones, so trying to get through that. But Balatro has been consuming my life, unfortunately.
You're gonna hear another boo from. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that while Jake was taking a drink, because he likes to yuck our yum on this episode.
I will say, Scott, I'm just about past you.
Are you?
Oh,
I have now 30 wins.
Nice.
And I've only got 2 decks and a couple jokers left to discover.
Oh, nice. I've got all the decks uncovered, and I'm on the last deck, the erratic deck. I'm working on the second chip level of difficulty, and that will be all of the second level difficulties. Then I'm going to move on to the third level of difficulty for all the card decks.
So you haven't done some of those yet?
What do you mean, like the
for the chip bases?
I did all the difficulties for the base deck, but then I decided I wanted to go across instead of up.
Okay, because I've been doing that for multiple decks. I'm blue on a couple,
Yeah, I did that for the deck that has like just 2 suits because I felt like that was the easiest deck to kind of go through that. And now I'm going to go across instead of up and down. So yeah, I'm glad that you got the bug on that one, man. Are you playing it on mobile or?
No, I'm playing on my Xbox.
Oh, are you? Nice. That's where I started, and I started over on mobile because it's just I really like playing it on my phone.
But yeah, that and then quite a few casino games in Vegas.
Nice. Did you come out ahead?
Broke even for the trip.
Nice.
Good man.
So,
like after expenses, like flight and hotels and all that stuff, or do you mean the money you gambled?
Not far off.
Oh, okay.
For the entire trip, but
all the Balatro, man, the practice came in handy.
But yeah, I came home.
That Jack gives me double. Like, what are you?
Yelling at the
Maybe
dealer.
again.
I brought my own jokers.
Right.
Played a fair amount of pie gout poker while I was out there, though. That's my game.
Nice. All right, Alyssa, how about you?
I've been the slacker of the group, and I've only played one game, Indiana Jones.
Nice.
I'm loving it. I think I'm on the last area of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I've loved every second. I mean, I have so much fun. Whenever I see a guitar, I have to get it to use it to smash it over someone's head.
Absolutely.
And the fly swatter. Fly swatter too. I have too much fun picking up random objects to stealthily go behind someone and knock them out.
Do you think it's clunky?
I haven't really noticed clunkiness, to be honest. I'm just having a blast.
Grant's on that boat by himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fist fighting.
I might notice it
funny.
now, though, since Grant pointed it out.
Yeah, you ruined it for her, Grant. Way to go.
No,
Right.
It's not going to be ruined. I'm enjoying it so much, it's not going to be ruined.
There you
I'll
go.
just be like, oh, there's that charming clunkiness.
Right.
But it really does just feel like you're playing through an Indiana Jones movie. Like, it feels so right. I love it.
There has never been a moment, I haven't completed it or come near completing it. There's never been a moment playing that game where I thought, boy, that doesn't sound like Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Troy Baker killed
Pretty
it.
incredible.
Like,
Yeah. Amazing performance. Absolutely amazing. Zach, how about you, man?
Well, I've been playing the completely unclunky Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
okay, it's unclunky now. Okay.
No, clunk.
The right amount of clunk.
Yeah, the perfect clunk. They've got
Okay,
clunk
the
quotient
perfect
down.
clunk. Okay.
I beat it. I love where the mystery goes. It's definitely
Cool.
did not go to places I expected, but it was super cool. One of the best mysteries of the franchise. And I do think Emmerich Voss is the best bad guy Indy's gone up against.
Is it aliens?
No. It's not quite aliens.
That was the Crystal Skull. Come on.
Yeah.
You know. And I've also been playing through some more of Kingdom Come Deliverance. Been trying to beat that game because the sequel's coming out soon. But this game, I swear, just doesn't end. And I don't feel right skipping anything because it's all so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like every side quest is like multi-stepped, and you can approach it from like 16 different angles. There's a lot going on in that game.
Nice.
Then,
Is that it?
No, I played through. What?
No, I'm just expecting a game. I didn't want to go on until I heard a game that I knew you've been playing.
Also, I played through Lamasoft, the Jeff Minter story. This is the second of the Gold Master series interactive documentaries out of Digital Eclipse. This was a fascinating journey because I do not know who Jeff Minter is. So this is my education on him. He was a really big indie British game developer.
Space Draft?
He does a lot of space animal games. Yeah.
Okay.
If there's a space giraffe, I think that was a 360 game, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. The documentary only goes up till like 92, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It goes up till Tempest 2000.
Gotcha.
Which would be which was a big game. But yeah, I learned a lot about him through this, and it was quite a fun journey. It was nice to know that even if it's a topic I have no familiarity with, that this is still an exciting documentary. It's a good way to learn things.
That is cool because you were deeply entrenched in karateka.
Right? Yeah, love Jordan Mechner.
Yeah,
so that was nice because it was a game I was deeply familiar with. I do feel like the format works better for going deep on one game, or maybe like a set of games, because this thing has like 40 games, which is a little broad. But they're also all pretty simple, I guess. But I know the third one is Tetris, right? And like it's a pretty good game to deep dive on.
I was going to ask you if you were going to dive into that one next.
Yeah, eventually. I don't want to go through them too fast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then I started Metaphor Refantasio.
Very
Ooh,
curious.
I got that for Christmas, so I'm curious as well.
Oh, well, it's great. I think so. The menus drive me crazy. I can't stand the menus, which I know is like the opposite of what most people love the menus in this game. But dude, I feel like I'm gonna have a seizure whenever I'm just trying to equip something.
Oh no.
I'm just a simple man, I guess. But otherwise, yeah, I really like the plot setup of magic democracy by way of like an anime tournament story arc is pretty good. It's a lot of fun.
And that one's like 100+ hours, right?
I have heard, dude. I have no idea. I've had friends tell me it's 60. I've had friends tell me it's 100. I have no idea how long this game is.
Huh?
So
Probably.
you know, like a typical Atlas game, you never know exactly how long it is.
Right, but they sure do go, huh?
They do.
Yeah, but yeah, I like Metaphor. I like the combat system. I think it's better than Persona, so that's been a lot of fun. And the dungeons are at least better than Persona 3 or 4. I can't speak to 5, but the dungeons have been good.
Nice.
Yeah, and then lastly, I started my replay of Red Dead Redemption 2. So,
Nice.
there is that.
Once per year, right?
That's the goal. Yeah, it's kind of weird. You know, I'm like 10 or 12 hours into this playthrough. I'm like already sad about moving on to the next chapter. Like I don't want to do it. Just want to keep going.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's cool. You have such a love for that game, though, man.
Yeah. What about you, Scott?
Well, before I get into my games, I got to give a shout out. Sean Coates is on the YouTube. He gave a shout out, so hello to him. He's one of our contributing writers. Love that guy.
Hey, Sean.
The Elite
Oh, hey.
Chief is here as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't see the comment. My apologies. You guys will be pleased to hear that I spent my Christmas break this year actually playing games.
Wow, first.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually played through from start to back Silent Hill 2 based on Zack's recommendation.
I also recommended it.
Well, you're right. I just meant that Zack did the review. That's what I was.
Okay.
He wrote the review. You recommended it as well. Both of your recommendations made me want to play it. I picked it up on a buy two get one free at GameStop and played through it in about a week. It was just
That feels
game.
really fast for you for like a 16, 18-hour game.
Yeah, I mean it was it
was
was
good.
either sitting on my couch doing that or recording my audiobook. So I really enjoyed it. Some of the puzzles. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I cheated a couple times.
I
Some of
did
those
as well.
puzzles.
I'm bad with puzzles.
Some of those, like, how does anybody think of? Did you solve them all on your own, Zach?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, you were way
Zach's
smarter
smarter
than I
than
am.
us.
Yeah. Well,
Why the hesitation?
Because I didn't want to make him feel bad.
Make him feel bad. Make him feel bad.
But
I don't feel bad.
I don't
I
think
did it blindfolded with
I
two
don't
hands tied behind my back.
I don't think learning video game logic puzzles means you're smart. I think it just means you probably play too many video games.
There was one that like you had to count the number of pills just in a sink, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
how? Like, and that was just like 1/4 of the puzzle.
I am so sorry. There is one I looked up. It was like it had to do with moths.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that one.
That was the only. That was the one where I was like, I was getting frustrated. And I was like, if I don't look this up, I'm just like, it's going to ruin my
Yeah.
night with this
I don't
game.
think-
You know.
I actually think that was one I did not look up. I think I figured that one out by
Yeah.
myself, but I did look up several.
I believe you. I just see you're smarter in one way. How about that? Anyway,
Well-
Scott, did my Zelda dungeon comparison make any sense, or was I off the mark on this?
I didn't get those vibes while playing it. I think I actually
Okay.
texted you halfway through and I was like, was this the one that you said
Yeah.
was like a Zelda? I mean, I get it from like, it was dungeon to dungeon, like you kind of traversed to go there, but it still
Mhm.
felt, I guess it was open world. You know what I mean?
I think-
but
I think
you always
the-
knew where to go.
I think like because of the design of the dungeons, you're kind of like looping back to that central. You're like doing a puzzle off this way and kind of brings you back to the center room and it like kind of unlocks a little bit of a central puzzle.
Yeah,
So I don't know, it made me
the
think of Zelda a
prison
little bit.
in especially was like where you had to like there was like 3 different branching areas. You had to solve one puzzle in the middle to
Yeah,
open a door
yeah.
over here. Yeah, I see that.
All right. Well, yeah, whatever. It helps get you to play the game. So
But if you guys have not played Silent Hill 2, holy cow, that game is atmospheric. It's all
Oh yeah.
genuinely creepy. And I was sitting in the basement in the dark. I feel like I've been callous to being jump scared a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped out of my skin like 2 or 3 times in this game. And one thing I didn't realize, and I should have known this was going to happen, but the crackling radio thing
Mhm.
comes out of your controller.
Yeah.
which is such a nice touch to that
Mhm.
because it's like it feels like you're carrying the radio, and they do a good job of never making you really feel safe until that's just gone.
And
You know what I
even then,
mean?
you don't feel safe
Right.
afterwards.
And those like mannequin things, it's like two pairs
Mhm.
of mannequin legs that are just like
Those
stacked up on
they
top
would
of each
always
other.
scare me.
They
Jump
were
scare every
they're
time.
really good about hiding. They
Yes.
hide in really good places in there. I felt like they would even run away from you and just go hide around a corner somewhere, and I still wouldn't know they were coming. It
Oh my
was,
god, dude, when they start crawling the walls, it's too much.
Oh yeah.
oh, dude, that prison sequence was just
Yes, the prison one got me.
oh. So anyway, Silent Hill 2. I also did fire up Okami, a game I've never played before, or
I
Okami,
haven't
however you.
played that one either.
The
Zach-
original, like the PS2 one?
Well, they remastered it on Xbox, so it was on sale for $5 over Christmas, and I was like, everyone says it's like Zelda, and I wanted to check it out. Gorgeous art style, Zach. You're right. They constantly are holding your hand. Every item you pick up is like,
Yeah.
I know what this thing does. You don't have to tell me again. I'm not very deep into it. I just want to get a feel for it, but it sure does a lot of talking.
Yeah.
It was like a good half hour, 45 minutes before I actually got to play anything. But
Much like that era of Zelda. So
yep,
right at home.
exactly.
So
I-
much like metaphor as well. Let me tell you. Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma's up there too.
Really?
Yeah.
So those were the ones I played, but I do want to tell you guys I am stacked for 2025 because I went on a purchasing spree, sales and deals and stuff. I went and bought the Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered Collection, which I have never played the first 5 Final Fantasy games, so I really want to go start from the beginning and go through those games. And then while I was at it, I was like, that's 1 through 6. I own 7. I own 8. I own 9. What the hell? I'll get the X and X2 remastered too. So now I own all of the. I own 13 somewhere. 14 is the
MMO.
Yeah.
MMO. I don't. 11 is 11 PC only?
It was on PS2 and 360, I think, but also an MMO
Yeah.
though.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the mainline ones. I've obviously done 15 and 16. So someday I would like to be able to say I've beaten all of the non MMO Final Fantasy games.
Oh yeah, I would. Me too.
turn-based. That'd be
That's why I also have the Pixel Remaster Collection during Christmas. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I also picked up Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition. I've never played Chrono Cross, so I figured this is the way to do it. I don't know the parallels to Chrono Trigger, but I love that game enough to give this one a shot. I hear the music is amazing.
Music's incredible.
Yeah.
Never played the game.
Also
Great
picked
music though.
up Metaphor Refantasio.
There you
Zach was talking about it, and I was like, all right, I have to play it. I have to try it. So that one will be in my collection for 3 years before I ever get to it.
it's. I would jump it to the top of this list here.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I think it's very good.
Mario and Luigi Brothership, picked up that as well. Despite the negative reviews it's getting, I have to play a Mario and Luigi game. And Zach, I'm sure you're curious about it, so I'll send it to you at some point to try out because I know you love that series.
All right.
And the last one, I picked up Skyrim on Switch, of all places, because I had, again, it was a buy two, get one. And I searched that website for hours trying to find something else to get. And I'm like, you know what? I've never finished Skyrim, and I'd probably be more apt to finish it if I could take it with me somewhere. So I picked it up on Switch, and it works pretty well. I was kind of reminded at how good that game doesn't look. I remember thinking it was awesome when it released when I played it on 360, but it hasn't aged as well as I would have liked. But I don't know if that's a hardware thing, like with it being on Switch. It did look better on the big screen when I put it on my dock.
Makes sense.
But have you guys have played Skyrim?
Yes.
Yeah.
I assume.
Never.
I have
Not
the
one.
option to turn into a vampire, and I don't know if I should do it or not.
Hey, I did all of them. I turned into a vampire. I turned into a werewolf.
Well,
I
I'm
became an
already a
assassin.
werewolf.
I was going
And
to say, if they're giving you a choice, you're going down the Dawn Guard, right?
Well, if I become a vampire, then I'm against Dawnguard. I can tell them
right.
no and go down Dawnguard.
I'm starting to think Jake has played Skyrim, actually.
I have got almost 1,000 hours in the Skyrim.
Oh wow.
So
It's really, really fun. I'm doing the goofy, crouching everywhere I go on the map to increase my sneak skill.
Sure.
Yeah.
I did that at Kingdom Come as well.
Do you?
Yeah,
I'm
well,
up to- I'm-
you can just find people like walking on the road, so I just walk behind them for a while, and
yeah.
Not creepy at all.
My
What are you
sneak is
doing?
already
Go
up to
away.
like level 48, and I'm like 15 hours in. Like, it's just ridiculous. But it's going to feel great when I get 100 and I can just walk everywhere. It's going to feel like I'm running. That's going to be awesome.
True.
So,
Scott, you have 11 JRPGs on this list of games.
I know.
You spot.
Yeah, 2025 is going to be the year of JRPG catch-up for Scott Clark.
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah, I'm confident games in the Pixel Remaster Collection are better than Metaphor, but I would still jump Metaphor to the top of the list to see what it's all about.
Well, I don't have any other PS5 games, so that will be the one in my tray for PS5 for sure. And
There you
I'm
go.
back.
So whenever you feel like dusting off the PS5,
Hey, it got a lot of work these last couple months between
Silent
Silent
Hill.
Hill and Astrobot, and it's been working overtime. So, well, that's the games we've been catching up on. It is time to jump into the week's news that doesn't exist because there is not any news. But let's go ahead and transition anyway. So we don't have any news stories to talk about, but we are going to talk about news still because we want to mention what happened in 2024. A lot happened, but what in your mind was the most important news story, announcement, or release that happened in the past 12 months? Alyssa, we're going to start with you.
So it's not the most important, but it's the most heartfelt to me, and that was Game Informer being shut down after 33 years.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that magazine, and they shut down the website too, but it was heartbreaking for me to, hear that they shut the magazine down.
Well, on the bright side, isn't there a Kickstarter to like revive it or
Oh, that's Electronic Gaming Monthly.
Oh, my bad. I'm getting them all wrong.
And I think it's just like an encyclopedia, but I could be mistaken about that. But yeah, Game Informer, I was subscribed for years and years and years. And seeing print media die is just killing me. Like, my heart is breaking. So, and plus, those people lost their jobs, and you can't even go to the website anymore because they shut it down. So
they did it so unceremoniously. It wasn't like we're
Yeah,
stopping.
so-
They just wiped it from the internet. Like it
all
was
those articles
ridiculous.
that people wrote, they're just gone. Their work is gone.
I mean, something could perhaps happen there, but just to delete it all is
petty.
It's got to
sane.
exist somewhere, right? Like it
The
exists on
Wayback
a-
Machine.
the Wayback
Yes.
Machine. But like,
Yeah.
come on, like what are we doing? You're gonna burn all the magazines too? It's just weird. It's just strange. I don't know.
I
Yeah.
bet they would if they could.
They would if they could.
book burning.
That was on my list
Yeah.
too, though.
Was it?
But
Oh,
Well, I have another.
Sorry for stealing it.
I got a bunch of backups. I'm just
That-
saying
that
that was
one-
definitely on mine too.
That one was top 3 for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, sorry for stealing it.
No, you're fine.
No, fine. Backups for a reason.
CB, what about you?
So mine is a bit of a two-parter. You know me, I have to cheat somehow.
honorable mention.
The International Olympics Committee.
Oh.
Okay.
So this is where it gets kind of twofold, because not only did they drop Mario and Sonic and that franchise, but they officially classified esports for the Saudi games.
Really?
Nice.
So, I mean, the fact that esports is an Olympic sport now,
What
I've
game
always-
are they going to be playing?
I don't know yet.
League of
It's just been classified for competition. So it's kind of cool
That's-
to see that like coming up.
It's interesting because I was asking someone about chess, and they said it has to be a physical activity for the Olympics. Is there any other Olympic sport that is not physical currently?
Don't think so.
So that's
I
big.
I guess
It's
you're
Put it in
clicking.
there before chess. I'm all I'm saying.
Is it because you're
Yeah.
clicking? Is it because it's reflex
well,
based
it's
rather than I don't know.
the,
It's weird.
the specific way it's put is the International Olympic Committee approved the formation of Olympic esports games to launch in 2025 in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, cool. Because it makes money, perhaps.
There you
That might
go.
be a reason.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the IOC has been kind of hurting.
Interesting. I didn't even know that. I missed
I
that
didn't
somehow.
either.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to all these scandals that's going to come from it, since we know the IOC is like rocked with scandal every year.
Scandal like
So-
when that kid won the Pokemon tournament and pooped in the hallway or whatever. That
Well, I was
quite
going to say more or
scandal.
less like
That happened. Look that up.
I don't
And it-
remember him pooping in the hallway.
He did something though, and they took it away. I remember. I
Yeah,
don't
it
remember
was poop. It was poop related. I know that.
Oh wow!
I would love it if
probably.
they just like made that announcement. Okay, if you win,
Can't
do
poop.
not poop
Can't
in the
fling
hallway.
poop. Can't fling poop around.
He needs to start his own Poopamon tournament.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Love it.
Sorry,
But
CD.
yeah, I'm no, yeah, it's fine. But like how every year you have to bid for the Olympics,
Mhm.
and there's always just like, oh look, like the host city like donated like X number of dollars to this person's daughter's college fund, and so it's just going to be rife with. But I'm excited for those who are very big into esports. The fact that like that is actually going to be a theoretical Olympic thing now.
Very cool, man. I knew it was coming. I didn't know it was official. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of, yeah, that's awesome. Zach, how about you?
What's his second parter?
Well,
Yeah,
it was the fact that the IOC dropped Mario and Sonic from like they're like we're not going to do these games anymore, and then the formation of esports.
The biggest news story to me would be the slow, bizarre way that Xbox went multi-platform. You know, starting off the year saying, "Oh, with that weird podcast where they said nothing for 45 minutes."
Yep, I remember that.
You know, and use very clever phrasing. But now we've gotten all the way to the end of the year where Indiana Jones coming to PS5 is the one more thing moment at Summer's Games Fest, and Phil Spencer out here saying there are no red lines with franchises going elsewhere. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to playing Gears E-Day on my PlayStation 5. Should be pretty cool.
That will be really weird, man.
Yes, it will. Getting a platinum trophy in Gears of War is going to be a strange experience.
Well, plus with like Microsoft going the route of like everything is an Xbox, it just feels more and more like they're getting away from, or they're going more towards becoming a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Publisher, but with the hardware option.
Right.
An interesting line to walk.
Yeah.
But hey, man.
All right. Well, I'm going to go for the low-hanging fruit that I didn't think would be available. It's not necessarily good news, but it is definitely interesting news over the year, which was the rise and fall of Concord.
I was going to bring that up.
Oh yeah.
When did the rise happen?
Yeah, I don't know about the
It never
rise.
did.
The week after it released, it was no, yeah. I guess that was poor choice of words, but it's just kind of crazy that a game comes out and 2 weeks later you can't play it anymore. Even if you have a physical copy of the game, you can't play it anymore. Everything was just pulled. How much money they dumped into that, and it just kind of makes you wonder: are we going to see more of this kind of stuff happen in the future?
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. I think it's going to set a weird precedence that as soon as a game does not take off, they're just going to remove it.
Instead of the rise and fall, Scott, it should have been the drop and complete cratering.
I was say it's not that Concord didn't do well. It said it's the biggest flop in video game history.
Right.
It's a pretty. That's
well, and the
sizable.
crazy thing about it is that I haven't played it personally, but everybody that I hear on other podcasts that has played it said the game worked. It was pretty fun.
I mean, the most I heard was it's fine, which is
it's
not
fine.
You're not. No one's going to play a game that's fine in this multiplayer environment, though.
Yeah.
You know, is a game?
I mean, they're playing Rivals.
Fair enough.
That has a pretty significant IP attached to it. You know what I mean?
It's
You're going to have,
and all those characters are caked
and
up.
It's free. It's Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl. Did you see Invisible Woman? My God, what's going on out there?
No.
Oh, did you see Invisible Woman?
No, I didn't see.
I see.
That's a knee.
Again, I walked right into that. Should have known there was a teacher in the room.
I caught it too. I was what?
All right, Grant.
I put the Nintendo leaks because what the hell is going on? It's like in Nintendo history, we have never seen so much actual hardware get out there to be in people's hands. Now, granted,
is it legit?
Oh, some of this, the stuff from it's got to be. It's just the stuff that it's the weird details that show up on this hardware that don't normally get featured. That's well, if it's not, then I'll
be eating a lot of crow.
That's fine. But it's not like they said they wanted to delay this launch because they wanted tons and tons of inventory available when that actually comes out. They didn't want they don't like scalpers. They're really trying to prepare for it. And I think that's pretty obvious because it's getting in the hands of people very early. And I'm running on the assumption that a lot of this stuff is real, but the recent stuff, like the stuff with the dock, the power consumption, the motherboard pictures, it's just crazy. So, but I guess it's not that crazy if there's already several million, manufactured. But We've just never seen that before from Nintendo. We see it with cell phones every other day.
Yeah,
but with
not
Nintendo,
a word from Nintendo.
Oh no, they don't have to say anything. I mean, just ignore it.
EMB actually wants to know: did Nintendo really get upset and said they aren't releasing it in 2025 now?
Oh well,
no,
they've said nothing. So
that's true.
They
Yeah,
said,
yeah. You say they want to delay it, but they didn't. They didn't say that, right? Like that's just what
no.
people-
They said last year. They said we are wanting to. They didn't want to release it. They didn't want to do anything for the Christmas holiday. They wanted to beef up inventory to make sure there would not be a problem getting one, and that's why they had. So this was way before the leak stuff. So I don't know. I don't know how.
Do you think the accessory companies got mad because they invested all this money into accessories and now they can't put them out there and recoup costs yet?
I don't know.
That'd be
No
interesting.
idea.
I'm just
But they've
trying
been
to think
announcing them. D-Brand even put theirs up. It's like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
this is legit. This is what it looks like, and that's just really strange to me.
But by the way, EMB is Isai Munoz.
Oh, hey, what's up, Isai?
Oh, hi.
I went to a baseball game with that dude.
Good to hear.
Amazing.
All right, Jacob. Most important
s-
news story of the year.
Oh well, I don't mean to bring this down. I don't know if it's the most important, but death of Akira Toriyama.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That happened. So there's not going to be any more Dragon Ball, Dragon Quest, Blue Dragon, or Chrono Trigger stuff from him at least.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, and so that hit kind of close to home. I was watching Dragon Ball since I was a very, very small child.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of sucked when that game came across the feed, but it is what it is. We're
that's too
gonna
bad.
we're gonna start entering into that area where all of the game developers that were in the 80s are gonna start dropping off.
It's true.
Yeah. We got into the hobby when people were at pre-middle age, and
Right.
now it's they're getting up there, and it's gonna start. Man, I'm just thinking of some developers that like when this stuff happens to other people that I'm very familiar with, it's just gonna be really sad, really sad. All right, so that was our most important news stories of 2024. It is time for one of my favorite portions of this episode each year, and that is our predictions. So last year on this episode, we all made, well, except for Jacob because he wasn't here. I believe the rest of us did though. But Jacob, you're going to make predictions this year. And this is where we kind of go back and see how well we did. Thanks to Christina Flores, our former producer, who actually went back to the episode and collected these for me. So she actually she went back and typed all these in here for us. We're going to start, before we even get to Grant's, he's the first one. But last year, the most points that anybody got last year was a half a point.
Really?
We did not do well last year.
Really?
So, and we
Wow.
kind of just self-regulate those points and give each other half
cool.
points or whatever. But
And the points don't matter.
And the points don't matter.
They matter.
just for pride.
They matter to the winner.
Yeah, they
All
do.
right. So, Grant, we're going to kick things off with you. What were your predictions last year, and how did you do?
Now, when you come out with half a point, maybe you throw yourself a softball. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. The first one I put here was the Switch 2 will not come out in 2024. Now, at this point last year, I think we were on the assumption that we probably would see something.
I don't think that was a softball at all. I think that was. I was assuming it was going to come out in 2024.
I was too. So hey, I got that. That's something. I thought I would get the next one, but I didn't. I said that the Resident Evil 1 remake would be announced. I still feel like it's going to happen, but I guess it was just too early because they didn't even announce the next Resident Evil 9 or whatever we're on. So they're a little behind in the back and forth between the what's that?
You sure about that?
Did they announce the new Resident Evil?
I haven't
Pretty-
seen anything about it. I don't think.
I could swear 9 was announced.
They
No,
did
there's
not-
a bunch
they
of
did
leak. There was a ton of leak stuff about story.
Oh,
but it was
leak.
nothing
No
yeah, they
official.
didn't announce anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I put that Microsoft will announce a handheld. So I still feel like that's happening too, but I was a little early on those. So
Yeah,
I did get the
Yeah.
Switch 2 one, but the other
Yeah.
one's not so much.
Wait, I'm pretty sure I even gave you crap. I'm like, look, Microsoft has a handheld. It's right here.
Yeah. You have an Android. You have a
Windows
Windows
phone?
Oh, you mean everything's an Xbox? Is that what you mean, or you mean that's a Microsoft phone?
Well, no, like you can stream straight to your phone.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, everything's an Xbox. Gotcha.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a PS5 right here then.
Yeah.
Don't you all have phones?
I mean, all these like Windows, all these like handheld Windows PCs essentially are Windows.
Yeah,
PCs
exactly.
Anyway, so, yeah.
Do you actually remember that Windows phone that they did make?
Oh, they made several.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was so bad.
Yeah, not great.
What was the customizable one?
That ran on like a Windows operating system.
Ugh.
You remember the Xperia Play, the PlayStation phone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wanted one of those.
Oh
so
yeah.
Hell yeah, one of
Yep.
that. FF7 ran out of that thing. So that's 1 point for Grant then, right?
I
Yeah.
no longer want it.
Yep.
Currently in the lead with 1 point.
We can stop now.
I think we did.
Yeah, I think we could.
All right,
Special guest
Alyssa,
winner.
you are
Yeah,
up.
I did not do well with my predictions, but first off, I said the Switch 2 would be officially announced with details released, including specs and pricing, and if it was called the Switch, I'd get 2 points, which I still really wanted to be the Switch.
So
We
good.
all agreed that if it was
So
called the
good.
Switch, that it was going to be 2 points
10.
for.
Yeah,
10 points.
the
for
new
Switch.
the new Switch 2.
I really wanted to be the Switch.
Can we?
Stupid.
Because I don't think. Does anybody have a prediction for the name? I don't want to spoil anybody's. Like when we get to the
No.
predictions later, we should all like make a prediction about what it's going to be called. Is it going to
I
be?
still say the Switch. That's 9.
And she gets 10 points.
From my cold dead hands, she says.
You should copyright that name now,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
that Nintendo has to buy
Switch.com.
it from you.
Switch.com. I still think it's going to be called the Nintendo Snap.
I think it'll be a
Stop
Switch
laughing
2.
at me, Zach.
Yep.
I'm not, dude.
It's a Switch 2.
I can't wait to play all the
100%.
schmacrosses on my
yeah.
Snap.
I don't know if they would do the Snap
Across.
because, I mean, play Pokemon Snap on the Snap.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They would.
My
Snap,
Nintendo
snap.
swap.
So, are you guys all on the Switch 2 bandwagon? Then
I am, but
Yeah.
I think I'm in the. I would love for it to be called the Super Switch, but Switch 2 makes the most sense.
yeah,
The
Super
Super
Switch
Switch
would be cool.
Sadly makes the most sense, yes.
But it would have to be gray.
I'm
But
still
no,
in the camp that it's
Mhm.
going to have a completely new name.
Knowing Nintendo, they'll just call it the new Switch, like they did for the 3DS.
The Switch U.
Switch
Yeah.
the Switch
Yeah.
XL.
all right, Alyssa. So you got 0
Switches.
points
They will
for
call
that,
us-
even though you had an opportunity
Yeah.
for 2.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I also thought Resident Evil Code Veronica remake would be announced, which I want that to happen, but it was sadly not announced.
We were battling on that one. I mean,
Yeah.
I was going for 1, you're going for Veronica, and neither of us
Yeah.
came out. So
We both-
what are you going to do?
We both were disappointed.
When
Yeah.
you both had opposite takes on the Switch as well. You guys are kind of competing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also thought Xbox would debut their own VR headset, and that didn't happen, so I struck out on all 3.
And Grant had that Microsoft was going to announce a handheld. They came
Yeah.
close. They came real close.
But not close enough,
Yeah.
did they, Scott?
Not close enough. No.
And I realized me and Grant have all of ours were similar. Our
Yeah.
guesses, they were
Yeah.
all linked. Do
That's
we
right.
have the same mind, Grant?
That's
Are
right.
we sharing a
Your
brain?
brain. So you said that at the same time.
So Alyssa, sadly, Alyssa, 0 points for you.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
Hmm.
Let's go over to me. I don't know what I was thinking with this first pick. I just like set myself up for failure.
You're coming out swinging, man.
I don't remember going into this much detail, but here's what I said apparently, allegedly. All
Allegedly.
3 must happen. Announcements for the following remakes: Metroid Prime 2 Echoes remake or remaster. That didn't happen, did it?
No.
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 Wind Waker remake or remaster. That didn't
No.
happen. Twilight Princess remake or remaster. That didn't happen. And then I went on. Needs to be more than a port on the Switch. They need to be more remastered or remade than they already have been. Can be ported if they get a physical release. And she actually put this in parentheses. So many rules. Good luck. And I said GameCube Online does not count, which there is not even a GameCube Online. So yeah, clearly 0 points for Scott Clark. Game Boy Classic announced and released in 2024. That did not happen.
I do like that you were swinging for the fences, though.
Yeah.
That's
good-
not a
good
bad
for
one,
you.
really. You know,
And
Everything.
lastly, a Superman game will be announced.
Sure,
That did
no.
not happen, but that is
No.
definitely happening in 2025. But it's not.
Yeah,
last time they had a
especially with that
Superman
movie
game, it was
coming out,
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they announced a Wonder Woman game in 2021, and we haven't heard a peep. So I wouldn't get too
Yeah.
excited about a Superman game.
Yeah, true.
So here's the funny thing: is I made a fourth prediction that apparently doesn't count because we're only allowed 3 predictions,
Uh-huh.
and that prediction was that Snow Brothers will make a return either on Nintendo, a return on Nintendo Switch Online. That didn't come true. However, there is a new Snow Brothers game out this year,
Oh,
so I would have got maybe a half a point.
Oh.
yeah.
No, definitely not. That's not the same thing.
I
Is
will
that the
give you
same-
a quarter of a point.
Look, it's
Snow
not the
Brothers
same.
will make a return.
It's not the same thing. It's also your fourth answer. So it doesn't
I know,
count
it
anyway.
Actually,
Yeah.
I like how it says Snow Brothers will make a return either on the Nintendo Switch Online,
And
but
she
like
didn't
it feels
finish
like there was something missing.
there was something more.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know what we have to go back and listen to the episode to see what the second half of that was. So big old goose egg for Scott Clark. I took some pretty big swings last year. CB, you're up, sir.
Metroid Prime 4 will be eternally delayed, kaput, gone, canceled.
Thank
No,
gosh
that's
you're
coming out.
wrong. Thank
Wrong!
gosh you're wrong.
Goodness,
Thank
you're wrong.
It actually, as of this morning, no longer has an official release date.
That doesn't mean it's kaput.
Eternally
saw it-
delayed, though. Eternally delayed. You
It's
can't
not
prove me
eternally
wrong.
delayed at
we will.
all.
No, we will.
It
We will
says-
go We will do a technicality on this one because he said as of today, which is in 2025, not 2024.
Boom.
Oh,
Lawyered.
But
Why did you write
What?
you wrote kaput gone canceled though? Why
Right.
did you add that on?
I don't
there?
know. I
'Cause-
was probably drinking when I said it.
He's wrong
Okay.
either way. It's not eternally delayed. It's coming out next year.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
drink on
Doesn't
this
have
show.
doesn't have a release date.
What happened? Did I miss this news somehow? Did Nintendo go? No, just kidding.
As of there was an article that came out this morning that the official release date that they had, which was supposed to be Q3, has been removed. It may not get a release this year at all.
So article that came out this morning, you said?
Yeah. Dude,
There's-
you know, I
what
think
year is that?
my uncle Nintendo said that too.
So, but
My
It-
dad
it
Nintendo
doesn't have an official release date, so it's still delayed.
You're not getting
Eternally.
points
And
for
it's
that,
still
man.
zero
no,
points.
no way.
no.
So Nintendo will have a new console announced, nothing to do with the Switch brand, the name or brand, and the controllers will be haptic gloves, bringing back
I
the
love
power
it.
of baby.
I love it.
I love that
We
you
all
added
thought
that.
you were idiots when
I
you
love it.
when you made
It's
that.
great. It's the fun
Nintendo
stuff.
did technically make a new thing, but it doesn't have haptic.
The Alarmo.
The
The
alarm.
alarm. It did
That's
get released, and
that's not-
I actually was like looking at how it like you have to turn it off. You actually have to like move in front of it to get it to stop. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
on it.
that is cool. It's also 0 points.
But
And it's also.
I'm
0
actually going to wind up with a point.
No, you are not getting a point. For
No,
the
not for that
Alarmo.
one, but for the next one, I will.
Okay.
Apple VR will fail horrendously, and
Yeah.
Oculus will continue to dominate.
You nailed that one.
You got
Yeah.
it on that one.
Apple is have ceased production entirely. You nailed it. That's
I don't
Yeah.
even think Apple VR
Ace-
was pivoted as a gaming thing at all. Anyway, was it? Like,
Yes, they did brand it. Part of it was gaming, but it was supposed to be life integration.
Right.
yeah.
$3,500. You know, no one wanted
$3,500. They said that they were going to sell 1 million units in 2024. They did not crack 400,000.
It doesn't do anything. Why would you sell like
so much.
Yeah, I was just like, what the hell?
And Oculus is Meta, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
and they
it's
are
a-
growing exponentially.
they definitely dominate. I don't know about exponentially. Let's settle down.
Has
Has anyone here but you played Arkham Shadow?
I played it.
Oh, okay.
It's
Never mind.
amazing.
Never mind. It's grown exponentially. I correct myself.
It's two.
Twice.
That's
They're doubling.
It has doubled.
I'm considering I have 3 Oculuses in my house now.
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
know if you're a fair metric by which to judge the success of the Oculus.
He just sets the average. For all of us.
Man.
It's surprising. Like it surprisingly sells out very quickly when they restock it at like
Oh,
Target or
yeah.
GameStop.
You got a doesn't count one on there too, CB.
It doesn't count. Xbox will bring back from the dead 4 Activision franchises / old IPs. I don't think they touched one.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
can't think of one. But
That makes
All right.
Call of Duty, people love it again. It's back from the dead.
So we got a tie between Grant and CB, each of them with 1 point.
Yeah.
Zach,
Must.
let's see what you got, man.
Definitely not a point. Sony San Diego. Sony San Diego announces a new Uncharted game starring Nate's daughter. I don't think that happened. Still
Nope.
weird.
No.
Still weird that we saw 1 second of footage of a blonde woman walk through a cave in a PlayStation ad, but whatever. I must have been really optimistic here. Starfield will achieve a Cyberpunk No Man's Sky level of comeback. Won't go so far as receiving rewards. Yeah, that didn't happen, man. Nobody even liked that. CB might have liked it, but nobody else liked that expansion pack that came out this year.
Did
I
they
didn't
not?
I didn't even-
know.
I didn't even play the expansion.
Yeah.
But Cyberpunk did come back. It is playable.
No, yeah, no. I was saying Starfield was going to have a Cyberpunk moment where everyone was like, "Yeah, dude, Starfield rules."
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that
did,
did not.
oh,
Yeah, that didn't
yeah.
happen
I
at
just
read
all.
no, Starfield, no.
I
Starfield.
forgot about Starfield entirely. Like,
Yeah, so did
Yeah.
I.
that's a game, isn't it?
It sure
It
is.
is a game.
Space Fallout.
What happened? It's just
It-
dis-
It got
quiet.
repetitive.
So all those load
Mhm.
screens, I guess, bothered people. I don't know.
I figured they were going to come out with like a.
Yeah, bad. And then I said Darksiders 4 is announced, and all 4 horsemen will be teamed up. Not a standalone for the 4th, but rather that the 4 will team. Oh, they'll go straight to the team up game. The cliffhanger from Darksiders 1 will be resolved in some capacity. So he did announce Darksiders 4, but none of the rest of that matters. So
Oh, it's like the.
Were you aiming for like a Zelda of the Four Swords?
yeah, it was just finally the dream of the horsemen teaming up was going to happen. But
So they did announce Darksiders 4?
they announced the next game in the Darksiders franchise from the original developers. So they didn't put the 4 on it, but they announced the next Darksiders. Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Oh, that's
potential.
awesome.
That's a potential halfie, isn't it?
That's a half.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
Why
want.
wouldn't it be?
Because I would give half on this personally, but
Yeah.
I'll give you a half point.
I'll
I
give you
think
a
You
half.
deserve a half.
I
It's
never
been
thought they would have
announced.
announced another Darksiders game. So that's the best
yeah,
news.
dude, from the original Gunfire games, dude, coming back.
Wow.
It's pretty exciting.
I will go as far as to say, Zach, I will give you a half now, and we will retroactively give you points if the game changes.
Yes.
If they like, oh yeah, it's a team up.
There you go.
We're gonna
yeah.
have to remember that next year.
2026. Oh,
Back-
because you
go
said
back.
this, you also get that.
So I can go back and tie for this year. So yeah, I guess that means CB and Grant are tied.
Yeah, so I
Yes.
guess the question is, do we just give them a tie, or do we say that one of them actually wins because they had a bigger swing?
Wait, it would have been.
What would
happened?
be the bigger swing?
Well,
that
Grant with the Microsoft handheld, because CB's got a Microsoft handheld in his hand, right? So is that
Ooh.
does that edge it over to Grant's direction?
No, because the handheld existed before the prediction was made.
Now CB's he's backing down from what he said a moment ago.
I could have
doing
made
it
that
the whole
argument.
way.
I could have come out with that half point thing and just didn't because I could have played Xbox on my phone 2 years ago. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'll share the.
I will
I'll-
share. I will share.
I'll take the gold trophy for the third, and the third for every odd month, and then I'll send it to you, and then you can have it for even months.
Shared
And we'll start
custody.
over.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
that,
yes.
that sounds fine.
Every other
Uh,
weekend.
We'll
Priority
exchange
mail.
it on.
No,
Actually, we'll
Wednesdays.
just exchange it on my birthday, since my birthday is the exact middle of the year.
Oh, okay. All right.
That works. Yeah.
There you go. All right. That is last year, how we did on our predictions. As predicted, we do not do as well as we think we will at the beginning of the year. But like I said, I took some pretty big swings.
No, I
You
love
did.
the big
You did, yeah.
swings. They're more exciting, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
Well,
the
let's
one
move
with-
on.
I'm sorry. Just real quick. You listing all that port stuff. It sounds like you.
I don't remember that.
It sounds like you on a bourbon bender, just just, and they're
There's
gonna
gonna
put
be
out
a Metroid game, and it's gonna be a
and a
Link
Wind Waker,
game,
and it's not gonna be a
another
port.
Link
and-
game.
yeah.
I'm literally the only one on this list that had a paragraph.
That's great.
He's just old man rambling.
Oh my goodness. I tried to go a little bit
Like, I want this.
no, this year I took some swings, but I kept a little bit more sane. Let's go on to our predictions for 2025. Each of us have 3 of them. We're gonna go in a little bit different order. Alyssa, you're gonna
Okay.
start.
I have to ask, on the Nintendo leaks, do they leak a price?
No.
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 No,
okay.
it's just hardware stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to say the Switch will be $399 when it releases.
That's cool.
Sweet.
Sounds reasonable.
So that's my first prediction. Second one is that The Outer Worlds 2 will be given an official release date for sometime in Q2 of 2026.
Wow.
Oh, so you think it's going to get delayed? Because didn't
Well,
they say 2025, or am I misremembering?
I just remember them saying it'll be ready when it's ready.
Okay, I'm probably just misremembering. No big deal.
But I could be misremembering.
I don't know. I am no expert on The Outer Worlds.
I love the first game, so I do want it to happen, but I'm just Q2 2026 for some reason is resonating with me for it. And then my last prediction is that Dino Crisis, those games will get remastered since, Tomb Raider and Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, getting remastered even though they're from a different game company.
Right.
Dino Crisis remastered because I want it. That's purely why I'm guessing this.
Manifest it.
Wasn't there? Am I imagining it? I thought there was something teased in that fashion, or was that like wishful thinking on somebody's
seen
part?
anything.
No, okay, maybe.
Yeah, I think the closest thing is Capcom did a survey about which franchises people will be most excited to see. Yeah. It was Dino Crisis and Mega Man.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking of. Okay, nice. I like it. I actually wrote them down, so maybe.
Oh, there you go.
Next year.
What an idea.
Zach, what are your predictions?
All right, so first off, Sony San Diego announces an Uncharted game starring Nick's daughter.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. One of these years it's going to happen.
He's manifesting it.
It's like my old Ninja Gaiden prediction every year.
Absolutely. So that's 100% going for that. Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus remaster announced and released.
What?
Yeah. Gonna get some Vincent Valentine shooting going on. And then Game Pass will make its way to Switch 2 by the end of the year.
I like that. Trying to type it in there. Game Pass on Switch 2.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Grant's making quite a face over there.
Well, possible, yeah.
I have the same prediction. So am I allowed to have the same one, or do I do I have to come up with a new one?
You guys will have to share a point.
I think it's happened before. We've actually had to chop a point.
No, I think you guys need to have one qualifier for each of you, like one thing different about it. What about Game Pass on Switch? Like, talk about pricing, talk about...
we need to go more specific.
Yeah, you each need to go a little bit more specific to make it different so that one of you gets... And then next year, one of you gets a point and one of you gets 1.25 points or something like that.
All right, Game Pass will make its way to Switch 2, and it will have a Xbox Nintendo crossover game on it.
Okay.
Like some kind of, I don't know, Banjo-Kazooie hanging out with Mario. Maybe they're racing carts. Grant's making shifty eyes again.
No, you can just take that. I'll just pull one of my other ones over because I want you to have the point next year because you're probably... I don't think it's happening.
Arsenal.
First of all,
so nice.
It's not happening in a million years. That will not happen.
You think
so? But I put it on my list anyway, and I think you should
Game
have
Pass
it.
on Switch?
Yeah, there's no way it's going to happen.
I absolutely think it would happen.
I don't think. I just don't think that.
I think Nintendo would certainly fight more than Xbox.
I don't think they'll want it to happen. I don't think Nintendo will let it happen. They don't even let a lot of streaming services on there.
That's true. There's no Netflix or anything.
Yeah,
right?
true.
I don't. Right. But that's not what this is for. Well, anyway, put whatever you want. I'll figure something out in the next two people.
All right, so you're going to do a different third prediction. So Zach, yours no longer has to have the crossover game.
Sure. Do you want to put in parentheses though?
Yeah, I'm going to put it in parentheses.
Fallback.
Yeah. You get 2 points if that happens.
And if it's a Banjo-Kazooie Mario content game, I get 17.
All right, I've got it in parentheses. Jacob, this is your first prediction episode or first game of the year episode. I'm intrigued to hear what you're coming up with.
Oh, nothing special. I really hope.
Tell it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just saying. I hope GTA 6 does not do as good as everyone thinks it's going to do.
Oh,
that kind of mean-spirited, but all right.
Well, I mean, they've gone in a really weird direction with the GTA franchise over the last couple. We've only had one game, right?
Right.
So I was hoping they would like kind of bring it back into reality more because we've already got Saints Row and stuff, and that's kind of the off the wall GTA. So
have you seen their predictions for sales on this? They're talking like 3.6 billion.
Yeah.
Wow.
In sales.
So I don't want them to do that well, but either way, Naughty Dog.
Before you go on to the next one, I just want to say, I also feel like, was it 10 years ago, GTA 5? Is that right?
Yeah.
12 years ago.
12 years ago?
Well,
It's a little bit of a different world now.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Culturally speaking, like, what are they going to get away with in that game and still make it something that people are
Yeah.
going to, you know what I mean? That I'm curious about that.
I'm looking forward to what Fox News has to say.
Exactly. Okay.
GTA is going to print money. Absolutely,
yeah.
Paul Hine.
Oh yeah.
But when you say that you for your prediction that it's not going to do as well, are you talking like critically?
Yeah, critically or sales? What are you thinking?
Probably both.
Both.
I mean,
Okay.
if it doesn't critically do well, it's not going to sell as much.
All right.
Unless, they blow the doors off of it and then it does bad.
We need something quantifiable.
I want a Metacritic number or a sales number.
There you go.
between 1 and 100 on the Metacritic data.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And then between $1 and what was it, 3.8 billion?
3.6.
I just okay.
You don't. I don't think. I don't think you.
Fiscally, I do not want them to reach the 3 point whatever
right.
they set goals for.
So we're not going to be able to. We're not going to know those numbers by the end of 2025.
The shareholders will let us know.
Yeah,
there you go.
Absolutely, they will. They'll probably tell us this like a week after the release date. I'm like, oh yeah, we've already broke.
So next year we're going to have to objectively decide: did it do better or worse than?
If you can
fiscally.
if you find an article that says GTA 6 isn't doing as well as they hoped, maybe that's enough to like.
I will break into Rockstar.
Depending.
I'll find their books.
Okay, moving on. Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog. They've got Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet coming out. I hope that flops. And on the coattails of that flop, they decide to actually release something that people have already liked and go back to some of their older IPs.
So
I'm really hoping for a Jack 4.
What an insane prediction! These are interesting predictions, Jake.
I didn't say that they were going to be good. I warned you guys.
Fair enough.
All right, yeah, one more. I want Intergalactic to be awesome. I'm excited.
I think it will. I think it's insane to think anything otherwise.
I'm hoping that they release something more on the Elder Scrolls 6 rather than the 30-second teaser that they gave us however many.
It's been like 6 years ago.
Yeah, like 6 years ago. So I would like some more news because they dropped the title. It was a little like scenery and whatever, and then they haven't said anything about it since.
Dude, that is such a. Of course, they're going to have more information on Elder Scrolls 6.
They haven't yet.
What about like a gameplay trailer or like a
be a little more
like a
will we get the subtitle?
I want a release date.
Release date. Okay,
that's good.
It'll probably be like 2027.
Are there Elder Scrolls fans out there? Does the Elder Scrolls community have an idea of where the next game will be?
No,
it's supposed to be in Elsewhere.
Elsa, hilarious. Elsewhere.
No, that's a
real place.
That's a real place.
All right. Apologies.
Hilarious.
I didn't mean to come at the Elder Scrolls deep lore of naming places elsewhere.
I had the same thing when I was playing Oblivion, but yeah, it's just to the south of Cyrodiil.
Right.
So, Jacob, not to give away what's going to be on my list, but I have one related to that game as well. So it's kind of interesting, but I'll save it till my list.
All right.
CB, what's your first prediction, sir?
All right, here we go. I think the Nintendo, whatever it's going to be called, is going to be disappointing.
What is?
Say that again?
I think the Nintendo, whatever they decide to call it, when it does release, it's not going to meet expectations, but financially and critically.
Nintendo new console, you mean?
Can you quantify that for me, please? A Metacritic data.
Metacritic score on the.
I think we are on the verge of another Wii U incident.
So you think it's going to be a failure, like every other system thing?
Just like every other Nintendo console, it's good, bad, good, bad.
I think you were out of your GD mind.
I'm with you.
Go back and look at their
I know, but there's no way that if they call it the difference.
If they release the exact same thing, and just like the Switch 2, you can play your Switch games and more expensive Switch 2 games. People are going to be like, I still have a Switch.
Dude, Nintendo sells different colored Game Boy colors, and people bought them like they were going out of style.
They sold out of alarm clocks.
At some point in time, the bubble's got to burst.
All right, I understand. I hear you. I love that this is one of your predictions. This is easy.
Yeah. What's your second one?
Well, here's the thing: if it doesn't come out, it's disappointing.
Oh.
That doesn't work.
We'll see.
You're talking about the
It's
console
disappointing.
itself being disappointing, not the fact that people are disappointed.
There.
All right, what's your next prediction?
AR is going to be integrated across multiple consoles. Like, well, I can't say Nintendo because I don't know if it's actually going to come out. But Microsoft and Sony will have AR integration with the Meta Orion.
The Orion.
The Meta Orion is the new project that they've been working on, which is AR glasses with with lenses built into them.
Oh, okay.
If you haven't looked them up, dude, they are incredible.
Right.
I'm like in like the lenses, it's pass through, but it looks just like a regular pair of glasses.
Cool.
So I'm excited to
Alright.
see those when they finally
Cool.
come out.
I want them.
I want them so bad.
I'm sure you'll get 3 of them.
No.
I got
And
one every color.
I think, and this is my third one, that Microsoft is going to gain a large amount of ground on Sony this upcoming year through sales, simply because Microsoft is now moving more towards a publisher. So I think that they're actually going to see a larger portion of the gaming market.
Okay. It's hard
Hey,
to
man.
quantify that. No,
Hey,
Market share.
it's like I'm trying to think like next year. How do we gauge that?
I feel like
look
you
up
said
market
market
share
share. Yeah.
You can look
Okay.
that stuff up.
All right. Okay. Last
Paul
no.
Hine, you shut your mouth. They are not going to be vaporware.
All right, my picks. I told you my one of my picks was Elder Scrolls 6 related, and it is, but I went a little more specific. I said that Elder Scrolls 6 will be revealed to have co-op.
Oh
Oh,
Nope.
wild.
no,
I like
I'm
that.
out.
No.
That's cool.
Wow.
no, they have Elder Scrolls Online for that. Mm-mm.
Yep. I think if they announced it as a multiplayer, that would be an absolute disaster.
Well, as an option, not like you have to play it. Like
Disaster.
Far Cry 4 and 5 had multiplayer, and you
Yeah,
could play
that's
together,
Far
but it
Cry.
was completely optional. And I think this would be the time to do it. That's gonna be
Stick
my
with
prediction.
it, Scott. I
Thank
like
you,
it.
Grant.
You stick with it. I'm just speaking as an Elder Scrolls fan. I would not buy it.
I don't know if this one is my second one, if it's a softball or not, because of things going on with this company. But I'm going to make a bold prediction and say that Assassin's Creed Shadows will kill the franchise.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I mean, that feels bold.
it is
Kill the
bold.
frank- All right.
So
I might
Assassin's
get
Creed-
kill the company.
Well, that's the thing is
Uh.
if the company, well, if they get bought, that'll be a whole different story. But
Yeah.
So Assassin's Creed Shadows sneaks up behind Assassin's Creed, right? And then
yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
shanks him.
exactly.
Dead. The whole thing. Bummer.
And then my third one, man, I had 2 other ones, and I tossed and turned between doing this one or my fourth one. That the fourth one doesn't count, right? That's the rule. So I'm just gonna go with my third one. A God of War remake / remaster trilogy is announced for modern consoles. The original 3 trilogy.
I feel that's more of a softball.
That's what I'm saying. I went with this one because I feel like this one is a little bit more plausible than the other 2.
It's
So
possible.
that
You know what?
and
You know
then-
what? Give your fourth one.
Well, this one doesn't count, but I said that a PS2 Classic would be announced in 2025.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's a lot of
PS2
Mm.
Classic.
horsepower. in that.
I think that one is that one's a bold. I think that would have been a better bold prediction.
what was
Better
it- what was
in
it-
that I wouldn't get it, or
What was your third one again? Sorry.
God of War remake remaster trilogy is announced for modern consoles. So God of War 1, 2, and 3.
PS2.
I know they did that on PS3, right? Like they
Yeah,
put
yeah.
all 3 of them on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's time
So Sony likes to do that though. They're like new generation,
Right.
new remaster.
Yeah, it's more likely that they're going to remaster the Norse games already.
Yeah, they're going to remaster the latest for the first God of War.
No,
Yeah, this is going to be the
instead of the older God
the
of War.
Norse duology.
I'm going to help you, Scott. I think it's going to be the Kratos collection. It'll just be like 1, 2, 3 chains or Ghost of Sparta, and then the Norse ones, all like one jumbo mega pack.
Wasn't Ascension in there as well?
Oh yeah, God of War
Sure.
Ascension.
Sure, it was.
That game is awful.
It's not awful. Whoa. It's just not good.
Just not for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't say it was bad. I said it was awful.
That's
It's
right.
okay, Scott. I was almost going to say that
Totally different.
Metroid Prime 4 is going to get delayed to 2026.
You shut your sweet face.
No.
I need that in my life.
Switch
I
2
need
launch
that.
title, Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the Switch 2 gets delayed to 2026 as well, boom.
Yeah, I guess.
Super.
And you're both right.
It'll be on both consoles.
All right.
I agree, Grant.
Grant,
Yeah. Yes. Ready?
you are the
Ready?
last one. We're ready for your prediction. Did you come
Hold
with a
on
third
to
one?
your knickerknockers.
Wait,
Here we go.
let me get. I can predict one of them. Game Pass on Switch 2.
Nope. It's been
Whoa.
removed. It's been removed from the dock. So
Much
You're
like the
safe.
Switch 2.
yeah, well, hopefully not. Half-Life 3 is released alongside the successor to the Steam Deck.
Don't tempt me.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
no.
I love it.
Top three games in next year's Game of the Year episode.
Wait, is
We
this
have
your
not-
second?
This is my second prediction.
Oh, okay.
The top three games
Uh-huh.
in next year's Game of the Year list we have not heard of at this time.
Interesting.
Oh.
Okay.
That's number 2,
Like the overall, like the ones that we all
Yeah.
like, we vote on. Okay.
like the average or whatever.
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. That's very hopeful for the industry, I feel like.
Yeah.
Hang
I
on,
feel like,
hang on.
These
If
nice little surprises will come along.
that means we may have to move the predictions to after the announcement.
What?
Wait, announcement of what?
Because if you're like the top 3 games are games that we haven't heard of, if Grant's the only one that knows that, we can't to make that prediction.
No, like they're games that none of us are aware of at this time.
Okay,
Like-
okay.
Yeah,
Like games we
Like-
don't know right now.
unannounced. They could be Resident Evil 9 because that's not been announced yet. But they're games that are not like unannounced, unfamiliar games at this point.
It's
But
going to be a
what I was saying-
Concord.
But what I was saying
Yeah,
is,
Concord comes back.
at the beginning of the episode, you're like, well, for my prediction to become true, I have to spoil the top 3 games.
Oh, I hear what you're saying.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
cool.
I
Oh, yeah,
see.
yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, yes, that will screw the format up. So we might as well just not even do it, right? Yeah.
No, we can
let's
just
settle
flip
can't
on
have the
it.
episode. It's gonna
Yeah,
screw the
there you
format.
go.
Good
You're
night,
right.
everybody.
We will have to do that. I will need to adjust.
I know.
things, but yeah.
Because it'll add more intrigue. What if you're right? And then we're like, well, what the hell are they? You know? That could
Yeah,
Oh,
be
that actually would
true.
be good. You could just
But
say,
we-
you know
but
what?
we also
Yes.
wouldn't know the order that they came
You
in.
probably
Exactly.
would know what they are. It's one of those things where you kind of got an idea of what the
You know what?
top
Let's
ones
play
are,
it
but-
out
No,
next
no,
year.
see-
Grant, you tell us what we do when we do the format.
Okay.
episode.
No, let's
No,
figure it
see,
out. Let's
I'm-
figure out right now what's going to happen 365 days from now.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to be next year, and it's like unknown title, extremely known title, and Grant just loses everything because
Right.
No,
Yeah.
That wasn't
I'm
all
fully
three.
I'm fully expecting like Prime 4 to be third, and I'll lose, but I don't care. It's still like a fun thing.
Right. Yeah.
But dude, I don't plan on Half-Life 3 in a Steam Deck too. I mean, I don't
If
have any
Half-Life
hopes
3
for next
came
year.
out, that's the game of the year right there. You already know that.
Yeah, we'll see. It
I'd
hasn't
like
been
to amend
announced.
my predictions. Grant is going to be extremely disappointed.
Hey, can we go back?
You get a
We didn't
point.
we didn't get a chance to comment on your first one. Half-Life 3?
Half-Life 3 is
Wow.
coming out.
On
Oh,
Steam Deck
excuse
too.
me. Can I say I apologize? Can I revise and say the like kind of like the next Half-Life game, like the next
Okay.
proper Half-Life game? I mean,
Okay.
I may not call it 3, but like Alex 2. Can I say like the next
Sure.
Half-Life, the next proper new Half-Life game, not a remaster?
Half-Life
But it has to
3
come out
progress.
alongside the new Steam Deck.
It's coming out along the new Steam Deck.
All right.
So if okay,
As,
No,
as Grant's slowly slipping us insider information.
I want him. I want him to be right so much.
He's
Me
making the
too.
music for it, so he knows.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I had
I'm working on my Steam boot noise right now. It's like dong, dong. The third prediction is that Crazy Taxi will get released in some form, either a remaster or the brand new one they talked about from before. But a Crazy Taxi game will come out this year. In the
Crazy
arcade,
Taxi 3.
Don't we
maybe
already
in the
know that?
arcade. Do
They
we?
didn't-
Remember
they-
Sega was talking about doing those?
Yeah, he referenced that just now, but they haven't
Yeah.
put any timeline on any of those.
Yeah, it was
okay.
one of the ones in their list of games they have not
There's
no
also
longer
like
spoke
a
of.
new Golden Axe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
new Golden Axe, new Shinobi. So yeah, Crazy Taxi's out this year. This year.
I have to say,
That's it.
yeah.
Yeah. You got it.
And that game was at R2V2.
Yes, mobile counts. There was a question in the chat. If a new Crazy Taxi release comes out this year,
Yes, can't argue that.
Can't
I
argue
do
that,
not
yeah.
want to play Crazy Taxi as a mobile game.
I don't either.
Like steering your phone. Like
There was one. They actually released a Crazy Taxi game on mobile about 10 years ago, but
did they?
it wasn't
Oh
great.
God!
It wasn't great.
All
It
right,
was like,
there
it
you.
was like Temple Run. You swiping.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to resist.
That is our predictions for 2025. Tune in next year to see how well we did. I'm looking forward to that already. That is always a ton of fun, guys. I love it. And CB and Grant tied this year. Yes.
Yeah.
Woo.
Woo! Yeah.
Congratulations,
excited, Jacob.
guys.
Odd months for Grant, even months for CB.
All right.
Right.
It is time, guys, for the 2024 awards. Let's jump into it right now. That's so cool that works. I didn't know if he was still listening.
It's like magic.
That's just
Huh?
First time doing this live, guys. First time doing this live.
Plenty of jazz
And-
hands.
Kevin's on it.
This
Kevin's
is
on it.
awesome. I want to have Kevin here all the time when we do this. This is great.
No, I don't think I'm listening to me.
All right. So before we get into the actual, personal favorites, Zach each year puts together this list of different categories, and we're going to go through those first. Now, there's a lot of them, and there's 6 of us. So we're going to start things off with best new franchise of 2024. This might have been the hardest one for me to come up with. I'm not going to lie. CB,
Yeah.
what did you put?
Balatro.
See, I didn't put Balatro because it doesn't feel like a franchise.
I agree, Scott. I agree.
I don't care. I think that they could actually find a way to turn this into a franchise.
Well,
we can't argue, I guess, your own choice. But yeah, that's why I didn't pick it. It didn't feel like a new franchise to me. Just felt like
I didn't think Rogue Legacy would be a franchise either.
I mean, my game, none of these have sequels yet, right? So we can't really say if there are going to be a franchise or not.
right.
Mine doesn't have a sequel yet. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is Rogue Legacy a franchise?
I mean,
It is now.
They got a sequel.
it will get a third one.
I mean, franchise is a weird word because it's like fast food. I think IP, right? Like IP, like a new. That's where my head was new IP. Like it's not a pre-existing IP. But it's not incorrect? Like how do you have to have a new franchise? The second game has to come out. That's what makes it a new franchise, right? Not the first one. So that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the thought exercise to me was that it is something you would see having more games. I guess, but
Sure. Yeah.
I don't care. You can address a category however you want.
What's
Okay.
happening
That's how
in
I'm
the chat?
addressing it.
All right.
Because I'm not gonna say mine yet, but when we get to mine probably won't get one, but I want it to.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it totally could. So, Alyssa, what's yours?
I'm gonna say Indiana Jones.
The franchise that started in the 80s.
No, this new video game franchise,
The new vehicle in which it
the
is, right.
Machine Games Indiana Jones.
I mean, Disney already greenlit another one, didn't they? They just said, "Yeah, we want more of this."
That's one guy said that. Yes, that's true.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's all the information we have is Jez Corden said that's what Disney said.
Okay.
And then everyone was like, well, I guess this is hard fact.
Okay. So I mean, like, is that considered a new franchise? Because it's like, would you consider the Tomb Raider reboot a different franchise from the original Tomb Raider?
I can tell you
because
one,
there's
I can tell you,
I would.
I
Yeah.
can tell you one thing I'm going to do is next year I'm going to say best new IP of 2024.
Yeah, we're gonna change the wording on that.
Yeah, that should be.
I guess so. Anyway,
That's how I read it. Is best new IP.
Well, that's not what it says.
Yeah, I know.
That's well. I also
So I say whatever works, right?
I also just
mean,
don't think. No offense, Alyssa, that a franchise that began in the 80s doesn't say new franchise to me either. It
I
just
know.
said-
I kind of cheated with that. I just
That's all
The
right.
Do we just want to retroactively
franchise.
change it right now and just start over?
Well, if you look at the
Like-
format, it says best new IP now.
Not on mine. I made a copy for my own notes. So
All right, fair enough.
Hey.
Scott does physical print.
it's there for next year. So my best new
Fix going
franchise.
for apologies to the chat for this,
Right.
this sad display I've given you.
Did we mention it's our first time?
It's the first time live. Mine is Mini Shoot Adventures. I love that
Interesting.
game, and I want more of them.
That's for
And
sure.
like it's just ripe for more. Like it's just such a fantastic idea. So yeah, Grant.
I put Bellotro as well. Mini Shoot is like one all timer for me, but I feel like Bellotro hit a lot of different things. It was made by a dude. It was sort of an unsung hero. It was like this year's, not unsung at all. What am I talking about? It's
Underdog.
kind of like
This year's Vampire Survivors.
this year's Vampire Survivors,
definitely,
exactly.
yeah, I agree with that.
And it was a kind of game that hadn't existed, so it sort of hit all that for me. That's why I put that down there, and we'll see if he makes more. You know, Bellotro 2.
I honestly can
seems
see him
inevitable.
making more.
I mean, Bellotro 2 is like cash. It's like easy money if it comes out next year.
But-
if he decides
But
he
see,
wants
what
to
I was
try
saying
and
is,
do it.
I can see him doing it with other card formats too.
Blackjack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a way to do
yeah.
it with blackjack. I could see him doing it crossover with Uno.
They already have
Sure.
other games like that. Like I have a Bingle, which is roulette.
And there is a blackjack one that I have, but I can't remember what it's called.
Blackjack.
No, there's a blackjack like roguelike like that has like not Joker cards, but you can get different types of cards that do more powers and that kinds of thing. But all right, so now that we've changed this category, I'm really curious what Zack's is.
Well, yeah, well, I wanted to say metaphor, but I don't know if I'm not very far into it. So I
Yeah.
chose Duck Detective.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is actually getting a sequel.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's already
I've
a
heard-
franchise.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, that is very delightful.
It's good.
It actually makes you feel like a detective better than most detective games, even though you are a duck. And that-
Especially if you're colorblind like Zack, because
yeah.
he didn't see in the game, words are different colors. So you would insert them into like this detective notebook, but Zack couldn't see the colors.
Oh no.
So-
Oh, interesting.
So I was playing on hard mode.
Yes.
You
but-
were.
You
but,
didn't even select it.
Yeah, it was absolutely a delightful game, Duck Detective. What a
Isn't it like
Fun.
a real short one too, like 2 or 3 hours or something?
yeah, it was like
Yeah.
2-3 hours, and the next one's already supposed to come out this year. So like you just get like a 2-hour little duck story every year or two. That sounds fun to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
just hang out with Eugene McQuacklin.
Yes, he's
That
got
is
a,
actually his name.
as he works
Great
through his
name.
bread problem.
Yes, he has a bread addiction.
Yeah.
McQuacklin.
Poor guy, there's crumbs all over his chest. He's falling apart.
All
Quack,
right.
If you need help,
Our next category, do we need to
Wait,
amend
hold on.
this
Whoa,
one?
there's a whole other person that needs to give an answer. Jacob.
Oh, it's just Jacob.
No, you're right. Never mind.
Sorry, Jacob, go ahead. What's your best new IP?
Pal Worlds.
Ah,
Oh,
Like in the
Oh.
Power World.
Well, according to Nintendo's lawyers, it might not be that new after
I was
all.
gonna say, is that
It'll- It's not going to get a sequel. There's not going to be probably any more DLC. It's going to die, but it was good. It was good while it lasted. If the Pokemon Company would just allow slavery in their game, if I could just take Pikachu and
Right,
just throw
if they
him in the
would just-
generator.
Let
It's
you give
like-
him a AK-47.
Pikachu, jump in the generator and power my base. Thank you. Jeez. Be
There you go.
useful. What
Can you
mean,
do
Mom?
that? Electric Pokemon and be generators?
Yes.
This game's dark.
I mean, you don't throw them in it. You just like, oh, okay, go do your job, and then they zap it, and then your base gets power. But yeah, no.
can't you like feed them other like animals of the same
Owls?
species or something? Or you turn them into
No.
food or
You
something?
you might be able to turn them into food. I mean, you hack them up and slash them and whatever. So yeah,
think
I guess
You're looking at Power World fan fiction, Scott.
Maybe.
eat him.
All right, I apologize, Jacob. I did not mean to skip you.
No, it's okay. I'm used to it.
Our next category, do we need to make any amendments to this?
It's funny because it's true.
Biggest surprise of 2024?
I feel straightforward, but I've been fooled before.
Yeah. I'm going
sorry.
I'm
Sorry,
going real
that's
boring and
my-
I'm going to
my
do a
fault.
repeat. Mine is
I
also
was going to say, Scott, can you go first so we can get an example of what you mean by surprise?
Mini Shoot Adventures was such a massive surprise for me. I did not even know it existed. The only reason I even heard about it was I got a press release on it. And like I hardly heard anybody talk about it on other podcasts until Game of the Year came up. People started talking about it, but just such a surprise and such a delight. It was one of the few games this year that I could not stop playing, and it was such a surprise. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise because it's Zelda, right? But it came out of nowhere for me, and I loved it. Jacob, what was your biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise was the direction that Helldivers 2 went.
Mm.
They were doing so good, and then they decided to shoot themselves in the foot and ruin everything they had. And ever since then, it's just been a decline for them. But like I don't know, that was such a shock to me that they were just like, oh yeah, we're just going to ruin our player base for really no reason.
Did they claw it back some, right? Or no?
I'm sorry, what?
Did they claw back some of the goodwill? It seems like people are excited about Helldivers again.
Yeah, I mean, they're releasing new stuff and trying to get like the favor back on them. They people saw the third wave of enemies coming, and so that was kind of exciting for their player base and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, you're talking about like some of the hardcore gamers that were on PlayStation just never went back because of the whole fiasco that happened. So it is what it is.
All right, Grant, biggest surprise?
I put Astrobot. It was announced in May, and it came out in September, and it sort of blew everyone's mind. Like, so I just feel like, I haven't played it because I don't have a PS5. Let me tell you, I looked at those Black Friday deals. I didn't go for it, but between Silent Hill 2 and Astrobot, I need to find one to borrow or something because I must play it. But Astrobot was a really cool surprise.
Awesome,
Good.
Zach.
Yeah.
Well, you skipped Alyssa.
I did.
Alyssa, according to the format.
I looked at the wrong one. I was looking at the best new
Scott's
franchises.
just skipping everyone.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sorry.
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
I don't know if you heard, it's our first time doing this live.
Well, for me, the biggest surprise was Vampire Therapist, because who would have known we needed a game where a cowboy vampire is a therapist for other vampires, and it turns out being really good. It was just a wonderful, wonderful treat of a game.
Should I ask you? I would have told you I needed that.
Say that again. Cowboy vampire therapist.
To other vampires.
Huh.
I want to see that dialogue.
Oh, it's hilarious. He has a lot of rootin' tootin' examples of
rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting.
Yeah.
Now get out there. Take care of your life. Giddy up.
Right.
It is a delight.
Is there a physical version of this game that Zach can get for Pixel Ranch?
I don't believe there's a physical. Sadly,
don't worry. We'll put it on. We're putting it on the digital shelf, though, Scott. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now, Zach.
Biggest surprise for me is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, because though I knew it would be good because Machine Games was involved, I did not know it was going to be like a thief style game that was going to be so incredible. I just had no idea. And if you had told me Troy Baker's playing Indiana Jones, I would have, jumped off the roof probably. But I was, very surprised every step of the way. The guy's incredible, and if when you play the game, it really does feel like a Indiana Jones TV show you're playing through. There's just so many moments where where it's over, just like, well, that was indie. That's just so indie. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah,
I need to get back to that game.
It's just very, very good. It's very good. The mystery. I need you guys to finish it. Just, where the mystery goes is very satisfying. Very cool.
Awesome. And CB.
Wow. I'm gonna throw you for a loop here, but catastrophic conversion.
Okay. Yeah.
I did not think that a 3D environment like tag game could be that good.
And it's one of those that like it doesn't make sense in your head until you get in the helmet, and then it's like, I want more of this. Yeah.
It was good enough that I went out and that's what made me buy the MetaQuest 3.
Nice. For those that aren't familiar with Catastrophic Conversion, that is Alan Sheck's VR game that he showcased at R2V2, and it is outstanding. It's so great.
Such a legitimate surprise for me. Like, I did not expect to see or play something like that this year.
There's a great shot of CB playing Catastrophic Conversion when we were testing it out, because CB gets super into it.
Dude,
Even,
I
like,
love VR, man.
he's crawling around on the floor, and it's like he's looking up, trying to look at, I think it was Mindy. Mindy was shooting him, and he's on all fours, like looking up, just like, it's a great picture.
Hey, man,
he ran her over
I
at
won.
one point.
I won every game I played. What can I say?
It's a great game, and everybody that came out of that just absolutely loved it.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, dude, it's really good.
It was hard to convince people to go into it, but once they did,
it was like the first couple hours was very slow at R2V2, and then all it took was like one or two groups of people to do it, and they went upstairs and told people about it, and then it was just nonstop the rest of the day. It was great. Okay, that was the last best surprise of the year. Moving on to underrated games of 2024. These are games that probably won't make our top 10 list, but deserve to be recognized. We try to limit this to no more than 5. I've got 3 myself. Jacob, how many you got?
I just one.
Okay.
I think. Hold on, I gotta skip me for a moment.
Okay, Grant.
I put 2 down. I put Mario vs. Donkey Kong because the port, the old port. I think that's my favorite Mario vs. Donkey Kong game is the first version. It's incredible. It's like the old GBA game. And they kept making the March of the Minis and all the mini stuff, and I just never found it to be that engaging, but I love the original, and I wish more people would play it. And I also put Thank Goodness You're Here, that weird, like, cartoony British kind of comedy game where you walk around and slap things. And
I haven't played it, but I've heard about it.
It's the funniest freaking video game I've ever played in my entire life. It's just
Steam
completely hilarious. It's on everything, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It may not be. It may. I have it on Switch. It may be on PC as well. Maybe I'm definitely on PC. Maybe on like Xbox and PS5.
Okay.
Awesome, hilarious game where you slap stuff. It's great. Those are my 2.
All right, Alyssa.
I have 3. First up is Stars in the Trash, which just felt like playing a Saturday morning cartoon, and it has a very special tie to me. Caravan Sandwich, charming game. Low-key, chill, fun to play. And then House Flipper 2 didn't quite live up to House Flipper, the original, for me, but I still had a blast playing it. Put in over 30 hours. And I'm hoping for some DLC because I want to play more of it.
All right. And Zach?
I wrote down Sun and Bone, cowboy dinosaur game. Played like Doom and Turok. It was a fun little guy. Kong Survivor Instinct. It's a really fun gear-gated King Kong game.
Really?
And then
Never heard of that.
Dude,
really?
Cool.
That's pretty cool, Grant.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
Oh man, somebody doesn't listen to the show.
That's very true, but I wasn't going to call him out.
Wait, there's a show? There's only one show a year, right?
That's true. Yeah, but it's also like short and sweet. Scott, what do you say? Like 6-8 hours, probably? 8, 10?
Probably.
Yeah, it's pretty short. And then lastly, Click Holding, which is a game that is about an hour long, where you just sit in a motel room while a man watches you click a button, and he gets more and more satisfied about it.
I heard them talking about it on Nextlander.
Uh-huh.
And it's almost like to the point of it being creepy, like he's getting off on
he's very into you clicking that button.
Yeah.
And you just keep clicking away, and it's just it's quite a ride, let me tell you.
Wow. Is it short? Is it?
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to check that one out just to see what everybody's talking about.
It's only a couple bucks. I think it's like $3 or $5.
Okay.
Definitely worth checking out for the for the experience for sure.
Okay. CB.
So this is going to be surprising, but I didn't play a lot of games this year, so I have one.
All right.
Arrow the Acrobat.
I hated that game
because I like it. You shut up. It's my choice.
Oh, that game was awful.
You just suck at it.
I do suck at it. That game was I did not enjoy that, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. There's a second one.
I know.
Arrow the Acrobat 2. Mine, I had 3, Pepper Grinder. I really enjoyed that game. I thought it was a fun little weekend game. Volgar the Viking 2 didn't make my list, but I had a good time with that. I love that series. And lastly, Kudzu, Kudzu. If you guys remember, it was that I think it was a husband and wife team that made a Game Boy game.
I know the one you're talking about.
Basically, Link's Awakening, but with a completely different setting and characters, and it's just absolutely charming, super fun. Very bite size. Definitely worth checking out. I played it on an Xbox, but I think it's everywhere. So highly recommend that one.
Now did Jacob get a chance for his
I thought I saw only one, and I thought I had more, so I kind of skipped in my head a little bit. No, mine is Rack and Slay, which is just
I forgot about that game.
Right. It's a pool game, but it's set up in areas. There's enemies that you have to knock into holes, and you have to figure out how to bounce your ball around the arena to bounce the enemy balls in there to complete the arena. And it was a lot of fun. It's got power ups, you can destroyable things. Different enemies do different things when you hit them and stuff. It's just it was a lot of fun, but it wasn't one of those like, man, I really need to just constantly play this game. I think I played it for maybe 15 hours, and then I was done with it.
I completely forgot about that game. I would have added it on here as well if I forgot about it. Man, what a great game. Fun. Okay, moving on. Most disappointing game of 2024. Which one let you down, Alyssa?
Autopsy Simulator.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that one.
Didn't do it for you?
It doesn't have a simulation aspect to it, or it didn't as of the time I last checked. It's the main campaign, not scary at all. A lot of times you don't even see the scares. Your character just starts freaking out. You're looking down at a table or something. You're like, what are you scared of? You'll hear a noise or something, and he'll freak out, and you're like, I don't know what just happened, because I'm just looking at my hands right now.
And this is the game that threatened its players, right? With like, if you
they also went into on Steam. They went to negative reviews and asked them to change them to positive reviews so they could add the simulation aspect of the game to the game.
Weird.
Yeah, which is not cool.
No.
Very douchey thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Zach, I think I know what your answer is.
You think so? I think it's no contest. The Plucky Squire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember you guys really didn't like that. I think I liked it more than you guys did.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I thought I was going to love this game. I'm happy for you that you like it.
It's too bad.
For me, it was a very joyful presentation of a game that didn't bring me any joy. It just made me frustrated that it wouldn't let me play it. I kept getting in its own way. And I know they added a more hands-off mode now, but that really didn't help me at launch.
Well, it's obviously if they added it now, clearly it was needed then, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, so I wasn't alone. Yeah. Was it, Scott? Is that what you thought it was going to be?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually kind of assumed that was going to be yours, so I had a different one ready.
Oh, all right. I understood. So, but are you saying Pluck Squire is up there for you too then, huh?
It's up there, but I think mine might be more disappointing for me, but we'll get there.
All right.
CB.
Ooh. I want you to try and guess mine, Scott. Because there is a funny story behind it.
I have no idea. I'm trying to think of what you were disappointed in this year. I have no clue, man.
So there was a conversation we had. I'm like, I don't know what to play this week. And Zach said, hey, I think you should check out Concord.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked up the trailer and I was like, nope. I'm not even interested.
You didn't play it.
That's how disappointed he was.
Incredibly disappointed with it.
I was so disappointed in the game, I didn't even buy it.
But I did buy a physical copy of it.
I wanted to so bad. My finger was on the trigger on like Walmart or whatever, like minutes before they sold, they pulled it, and I wish I would have grabbed.
I just happened to get lucky and find one in Texas.
Nice. That's me next, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So since Plucky Squire was taken, I went with Nintendo World Championship NES Edition.
That was a disappointing game?
Dude, I was so amped for that game, and they just completely botched it. Like,
Can I
there's
say,
no...
I also put that down as mine. I'll pick a different one, but yeah, I put that down as well. So we're in simpatico with that.
It's funny because that was going to be on my list. I was so disappointed when we played it at our little Extra Life event that I never even opened mine.
Yeah, I bought 2 copies, man. I have a sealed copy and a digital copy on my...
I have 2 copies as well, and they're both still sealed.
Like, it was going to be an awesome thing, and the execution was so poor. Like, if you go to play it, you're competing against the top people in the world, and that's it. You can't compete against friends.
That sucks,
you can't,
dude.
like, why would you want to do that? Like just
The leaderboard, no leaderboards in that game is the most. And I'm just telling you, I've worked on a lot of games. Leaderboards are very easy to put in your game now. It's built into the platform. It's so easy. They chose not to do that. I don't know why. It ruins the whole thing for me. I don't have a house full of people to play this with. Like
Right.
I don't, I would be playing with my buddies everywhere, and it just really killed it for me.
See, it's not just you guys; it's everyone I've talked to who's played that. Their number one complaint is no friends leaderboard.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, there's even friend leaderboards in like the Xbox achievement system. Like I can look up like how much further into something I am.
right. Yeah.
So like, and that's across like every game. So
Yeah.
why couldn't you just do it in this?
Well, I think we were all kind of hopeful that they were going to do some kind of update, and they just never did anything with it. And because remember we were talking about like doing something with it at R2V2, and then like we just didn't like it so much that we just never.
Oh
did
yeah,
anything
because
with
we were
it.
gonna have to pen and paper it.
Yeah, like that's not fun. Like you can't do like a bracket or anything like that. I want to do that. That just doesn't seem fun for me. Like set it all up and then like have to set up a game for like a 4-second match. You know what I mean? Like it's just
It did so poorly that you can now buy them at Walmart for like a lot less than it originally came out for.
well, the one I bought physically was like the master edition or whatever that came with the.
Yep, you can still get them. They're at
Yeah.
Walmart in the clearance area.
Not great. All right, Jacob, what's yours?
Terratech Worlds, probably a game you guys never heard of, but
I have not heard of it.
Terratech was it's basically a tank making game, but you build it block by block. It was very cartoonish, 3D. But the second one came out last year, and I was kind of hoping for just a more in-depth building system and base building and all that kind of stuff. And they delivered with the base building, but when it came to actually like combat and the game and unlocking parts for your customization of your vehicle, whatever, it kind of feels like it got in its own way. They tried to put too much story into what was a very cartoonish game to begin with, and it just like I started playing it. I got a couple hours into it, and I just wasn't feeling it. And I keep going back to it and trying to like force myself to enjoy it, but every time I go back to it, I just remember why I quit playing it.
Grant, did you have another one, or were you sticking with that one?
I'll put another one down. I thought about putting this, but I don't feel like this is a bad game. It's just a game that isn't pour moi.
Oh,
But
he's so bilingual.
Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is not for me. Like I really was excited that a Zelda game was coming out where you play as Zelda, and nothing about this game is for me. Unfortunately, it ran a little hitchy. It's fine, but it isn't a bad game. But I was pretty disappointed in it. So again, I really mad at the World Championships one. That's my actual pick. But if I had to put a disappointment in here, it'd probably be that it nowhere close to my list, I think, this year.
That's interesting. I fell off on that one pretty early. Just again got distracted by other things, but I was still enjoying it, but not enough to complete it yet. So
Finish it, yeah, sure.
but it's at the top of a lot of people's Game of the Year list too.
Which is great. It's
Yeah.
great. And it was normally a Zelda is for me, but for some reason it wasn't.
It's definitely it's like the Zelda 2 of modern Zelda games. Like it's just so far from
Sure.
I mean it has the same formula, like the dungeons and everything, but it's just it plays so differently.
It does.
But I was still digging it, but
It's still hilarious that her ultimate power up is to turn into Link, a boy. It's not. Feels like a bad
Yeah.
look, but
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought that. I was like, oh man, this is gonna make some people so mad.
And they were finding out ways to like exploit that so you stay as Link longer. And I was
right,
like
yeah.
this is a problem. This is weird. This is not
yeah, it's weird that you're leaning into let me play as not her.
right.
Yeah, it's very strange.
All right, next up, any games you regret not checking out in 2024? I have a list. So I will just read through mine when we get there, but we're going to
me
start
too.
off with CB.
Darn near everything.
Yeah.
Astrobot, Senua's Saga 2, and System Shock were the top 3 for me.
Okay.
And then Silent Hill 2.
Oh, Silent Hill 2 is so good. For me, I have a bunch. Children of the Sun is a game I really want to check out.
Oh, dude,
Animal
it's very
Well.
good.
Animal Well, everybody keeps talking about. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Indica, I know Alyssa played that one.
I love that one.
That looked like a lot of fun. Neva, I did not play that one. That looked really great. UFO 50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I am kind of mad at myself that I didn't play that one. Kill Knight. That's a Scott Clark game if there ever was one. And lastly, Tetris Forever. I really wanted to play that one. I didn't get around to it, so I may have to remedy
Great
that
list.
one. So
Great list.
those are the ones, the glaring ones for me. How about you, Grant?
Well, did you buy any of those over Christmas? No. You
No,
bought
I didn't.
11 JRPGs. I only have one. There are several, but Mouthwashing was a really strange indie horror game made by a team that makes a bunch of them, and I played a couple of the other ones. But I heard the story's really interesting, and I wanted to check that out. Just didn't
Disturbing.
get to it. Yeah. Which that's kind of that whole analog horror thing is quite hot right now. But that, and I'm sorry I didn't check out Star Wars Outlaws. Love Star Wars. Was kind of waiting on it, and then I heard they were making improvements to it. And so I'm kind of glad I waited. So I'll probably grab it on a sale this year and play it a little late, like I did Jedi Fallen Order as well. But I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. Those only 2?
Yeah. Alyssa.
I've got 4, which I got all of these for Christmas, so I have no reason to not play them now. But that's Metaphor Rio, Dragon Age: The Veil Guard, Star Wars Outlaws, and
Chrono Trigger.
I wish Stellar Blade.
Ah, okay.
Nice, it's got near crossover stuff now, so you could dress up as 2B and be naked now. I'm sorry, for me. Sorry. I regret not playing Metaphor or Star Wars Outlaws earlier, so that way I could actually talk about it reasonably at this time, because I feel like both those games would be on my list. I'm just not far into either. And then Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, looked really great.
That one. I want to play that.
It looks so unique, and I love unique ideas, but like this character action game tower defense combo sounds very cool. Dungeons of Hinterberg, I think looks like a lot of fun. Wish I could have checked that one out. And then Helldivers 2. I feel like I missed the boat. You know, I just feel like I missed the chance to get in while it was good, I guess. Or
I know, it feels like it's too late now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Not that it's probably. I'm sure it's still a lot of fun. It's just I do feel like I missed the excitement window, I guess.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we already said Scott is UFO 50.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just looks like what a ballsy play from indie devs to be like, hey, here's 50 games and like not mini games, but here's 50 games,
full games.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they're like NES, level, but hey, that's awesome.
But it's got like a 12-hour JRPG in there.
Yeah,
it's crazy. What are they doing?
I mean, I keep like waiting for a better sale. It was on sale, and I was like, I got so many RPGs to play now.
The only reason I didn't buy it on the recent Steam sale was that I've got enough in my backlog without adding 50 more right now.
Right. Jacob.
Black Myth Wukong.
Oh yeah.
That was I kind of feel the same way, but it's single player, isn't it? So I can go back and play it whenever I want to. It's on my list. I was gonna try to get it done before this episode, but just the other games are just too long and took too much time. But the other one was Stalker 2. I didn't play the first one, but Stalker 2 looked so engaging with the idea that you can pick up like weapons and modify them on the go to adapt to whatever situation you're in. I play a lot of survival games, and I'm sick of the trope of having at night some kind of big scary creature that's always coming to get you, and you have to defend yourself in a different manner at night. And that's kind of what that game felt like. And so I kind of put it off until the end, but I think it's time to go back and try it. It's on the list too. But those are my 2.
Very cool. Next up is Best Narrative of 2024. I'm going to kick things off with Knock on the Coffin Lid. If you have not played this game, it is some of the most interesting storytelling I've seen in a while. It's really it's Slay the Spire, but with really cool storytelling. Like,
okay.
You know how like in Slay the Spire, you'd have like those question mark moments where like something happens, but it's always just like, oh, I'm gonna either get some gold or I'm gonna lose some health or whatever. It's just always like the same like endings. They do stuff that actually affects the story on each run in that, and it's just really cool. And the voice acting is great, and that might be the most underrated game of the year for me.
Knock on the Coffin. I mean, I love the title. The title's incredible.
Yeah, and it's actually like how the game opens. It's like that's how you are awakened, and that's how they do the run-based randomizer kind of thing. Like you He knocks on the coffin lid to wake you back up after you die to resurrect you.
Oh, every time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Yeah, dude. I'm adding this to the list for sure.
I
thought
really,
you were going to say Void Route.
yeah. The story in that was,
Man.
still don't know what it is. Finish the game.
Seems like
No
a
idea
good,
what that story is.
good Steam Deck game, Knock on the Coffin Lid.
Yes, and well, it's a little. The controls are a little goofy.
Oh, that's right. That's what stopped me from playing it, I think.
Yeah, I mean it
Yeah.
works. It just takes
Right,
a
right.
minute to wrap your head around it because you can't. I think you can like drag with your finger, but that somehow feels even more awkward than what they have you do. You actually use the trackpad and the trigger as a mouse click.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
They should fix that.
Yeah, they should fix that. That's kind of gross.
I mean, they may have they may have by now, but that trackpad actually works pretty well on the Steam Deck. That's the first time I've had to use it for a game, and works pretty well. Jacob, best narrative.
Pacific Drive.
Okay,
Well, out of games that I played, but
you're selling me on that game, dude. I got to play that one.
that it is a very ambiance game. There are things happening around you, and I mean, there's rustling in the bushes, and there's explosions, and they tell you that there's no wildlife there, so you're not actually there's nothing actually out there with you, but things are still happening, and it's just the anomalies that are occurring around you that make it really creepy. And they have mannequins that move when you look away, so that's I hate that. I scream constantly at the game, and Mindy is sitting 3 feet away from me, and so she's like, "Oh, geez, what like another mannequin? Like what's wrong with you?"
What was the game that did that where they were like the mannequins were running, but they
Lots,
only run?
lots of
There's one
things.
that was like all over TikTok that just like looks so freaking creepy.
Oh, I don't even know, but yeah, lots of different games have the Weeping Angels esque
Okay.
things, and they don't, and they the mannequins in this one don't move when you look away from them because you can do whatever, but when you do things randomly, they will suddenly switch positions, and they'll either be right on top of you, like right behind you, because they explode when you touch them, and so they're
Okay.
trying to get in your way in a very weird thing, but they're also benevolent in some way because if you are out in the world and don't have an item that you need for whatever reason, they will randomly throw the items at you. And so I was scrapping a car, and my little scrapper broke. That's what it's called, actually, is a scrapper. But anyway, I didn't have enough of a resource to make another one to continue on, and I was trying to find a way out of there. And as I was looking around with my flashlight, suddenly over my head, the piece that I was missing flew over my head and landed in my flashlight beam. And I turned around, and the mannequins were just everywhere around me. And I about lost my mind and, and quit the game because I was so shocked that they happened. But yeah, the narrative in that game, I don't really know how it starts off. It's kind of weird. I don't know if you're going like a groundkeeper or something, but you're driving across this road, and the anomalies basically come out of the wall, that these areas that are blocked off that you're not supposed to get into, and grab you and pull you into the area. And there are 3 characters that are talking to you that are trying to help you through, and they're different scientists at different level that dealt with the anomaly however long ago, when there's like this big government conspiracy going on. And so in their own little way, they've all done something to make the anomaly occur or not expose the truth of what the company was doing. And you learn these through different things that are happening in the world that you're doing. Sometimes people are put into a corner that they need to tell the truth to help you on a mission that you're doing, because you need to know something, but you can't talk back to these characters. You only have a receiver and no transmitter. And so they're just kind of watching you on a radar and seeing that your car is going and doing things, and they can see the effects in the world, but they can't actually know what you're doing. So they're playing by ear and seeing what you're doing, and then they kind of point you in the right direction, but you can't be like, oh yeah, well I need to go do this first. And so there's kind of this, they'll talk to you, but you can't talk back. So when you return from a mission, depending on how that mission went, they will have some kind of comment for you of how that mission went, and you're just kind of like, oh well, whatever, next time.
All right.
Yes. But it's fun.
I'm going
It's
to
fun.
check that one out. Grant.
Best narrative, I put Indica.
Okay.
Yes,
It's come up a couple
that
times
game's
already.
great.
You play, it's very short. I won't go into details, but you play as a nun in early 19th century Russia. It's a very straightforward story in terms of the events that happen, but the way that it tells it, I think, is what makes it interesting. The mechanics of it, it's bonkers. It's strange. There's an injection of all these modern elements. All of a sudden, you're. It's a commentary on your role in society and whether you should be following the rules or listening to your heart is sort of the idea. But it is done in a really fun way, and it's very funny actually, and strangely dark at the same time. So I keep thinking about it. So Indica is my pick.
It's another one I really want to go back and play.
It's not long.
I really want to check that one out for sure. But yeah, I heard it gets pretty dark.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Alyssa, what's your best narrative?
I chose Until Then. I don't want to say too much about the story because that's really what you're playing it for, but if you liked A Space for the Unbound, if you played that, it's similar. It really blends sci-fi elements with slice of life elements really well, and it's just a really emotional story, and it really just sucked me in.
Cool.
Nice. Zach?
I'm going to give it to Wild Bastards.
Yeah, kind of saw that coming.
It's an incredible story. Great cast of characters. I love that even though there's like 13 playable outlaws, each of them have a different sort of relationship with all of the others, and that's pretty impressive with a cast that size. And yeah, there's a lot of cool reveals along the way, and I really love the ending. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal game, phenomenal story.
Nice. CB.
Awesome. I feel like I'm cheating on this one, but Space Marine 2.
Why is that cheating?
Because it left me wanting so much more that I got into reading the franchise.
That's awesome, man. I think that's a great reason.
I'm now like 9 books in.
9 books.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, the funny thing is that's like barely scratching the surface.
Oh yeah.
I'm 9
but here's the thing, like you can't like. It's so well written and so amazing that like you just don't want to stop. You're like, I need more.
That's awesome, man.
I think it is interesting that everybody, no shade to CB, but everybody else picked an indie game. It's good. Good storytelling happening there.
Warhammer's pretty indie.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
All 900 of the books. It's amazing what they can do.
All right, next category is best retreading of old ground. Jacob.
What do you mean by this?
It's intentionally up to interpretation.
Yeah, what do you think it means? I like this is fun. This is neat.
Say something.
Say something.
Spit out words.
Probably Dragon's Dogma 2. Because that was a world that people were so inquisitive about when the first one kind of ended, and they wanted to go back really, really badly. And finally Capcom was like, okay, cool. We'll do a second one. And people were really excited about it because they wanted to, one of the biggest features is the pawn system. And they wanted to know how the pawns were going to work in this game. And when, like I have a house in the game, and when you go rest at your house, because you have a main pawn, someone that's always with you no matter what, that's owned by you. And when your character wakes up, sometimes your pawn will have a story to tell you that they went off and they met this other person and they traveled and they did these things and they collected these items and they brought them back for you. And it gives you a rating of how well your pawn did with the other team and what that person thought of your pawn. And that was one of the biggest selling points of the original game. And it was one of the biggest things that made people want to have a second one. And so I'm really enjoying the mechanic of these pawns, because I'm constantly the secondary pawns that you get that are made by other people do not level up with you. So you have to go back to the drawing board and find new pawns every now and then to fit into your team that are a higher level so they can stand the new creatures that you're fighting. And so you're constantly looking at stats, what their awards have been, how long they've been playing, what level they are, what skills they have when you get them. And then sometimes you have to give money, or it's some kind of currency, but you have to pay for higher level ones just in case that's what you need. In my travels in that world, you don't speak Elvish, and so I came across an Elvish society, and everything in game, all of the menus, if a character is speaking to you, from the subtitles in the game to anything that's in a shop, it's all in Elvish and you can't read it. And so it's, you can't do anything because you don't know what anything is. You can guess, but you might choose something that's wrong. And so, I decided to skip that part of the game, and I left. And on my travels, I just, I was looking for a different pawn, and I came across another character that they all tell you some quip about how their skills are before you even take a deep dive into them. And the first words out of this pawn's mouth was, "I speak Elvish." And I went, okay, you're one of my favorites now. So it was just a universe that people wanted to get back to so badly, and they finally got it with 2.
All right. Interesting
Cool.
choice. Did not see that coming. Grant, what's your interpretation?
I put Parking Garage Rally Circuit. It is a driving game. It is a racing game that takes place in parking garages and parking lots. It's in the style of old, like Saturn style racing games, Saturn and Dreamcast, kind of Sega era. And they nail it. They absolutely nail the odd physics and blockiness and everything about it. And it has a ska soundtrack. So they kind of nail all the vibe of that era really, really well. And I was a huge fan of Sega Rally and like that era of games. So that is absolutely my favorite, best retreading of old ground in my brain.
I've never heard of that game.
Parking Garage Rally Circuit.
You've enlightened me, man.
Look it up. It's good. It's cheap.
All right, Alyssa.
For me, it's Silent Hill 2. I never had the pleasure of playing the original game, but this one, I loved it. I loved every single second of it, even when it was terrifying me or when it shredded my nerves. It just was such an amazing horror game. And yeah, if you haven't played it, definitely check it out.
Spoiler alert, that's mine as well. I've never played a modern game that made me feel so much like I was playing a PS2 game. And I mean that in the best way, not like necessarily in the graphical fidelity, because obviously this looks fantastic. But I felt like I was back in the early 2000s playing a survival horror game. It put me back in that spot, but in modern times. That was mine as well.
Cool.
Zach?
Silent Hill 2.
No.
You don't say.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think I'll highlight a different aspect than you guys with the addition of quality voice acting here in this remake compared to the original. Helps Silent Hill famous for its more subtle psychological horror. I think that plays a lot better when the performances can be subtle and nuanced themselves. And
that's a good point.
That really works. Yeah. So a great remake.
Nice. CB.
Batman Arkham VR.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's legit. I mean, the compared to the PS4, like the first Batman VR game, that one it feels
no rebirth.
Yeah, no rebirth.
Kevin, it's because so much of Rebirth is new, Kevin. That's why I didn't put it. All right, so I just wanted that known.
Hey Dallas. But no, Batman Arkham VR feels like the Arkham games, but in VR. Like the combat is fun. The actual detective work that you do, it feels like you're legitimately playing one of the Arkham games from like a solid VR perspective.
Right. It feels like a sequel to Arkham Asylum, but in VR.
It really does.
feels exactly like those games play. I don't know how they did it, but you're right. It nails it. It absolutely nails it.
It is so good. And I want Zack to play it so bad.
I would love to. I've heard it's got I've heard it's got an incredible Two-Face story, which is lovely to hear because that's my favorite villain from the comics.
Really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
I really need to finish it, but everything about it, you're just like, this is so good. Like just every mission though, like even when you're pinned down by snipers or you're in an area and you have to take out everybody and clear the area to unlock the door, like those challenge missions, it just feels it feels like those early Arkham games, like how everything was so fun and like exciting about it, but just from a first person perspective. and like you're actually doing everything. And like I never thought combo fighting in VR could work like that.
Do you get tired playing it? Like you get
My arms are sore after
Yeah.
like a solid playthrough.
It's true, but you can minimize movement. Like if you get into a situation where you need to hit a bunch at one time, you can just kind of like do this. Like you don't have to really.
Just,
It doesn't
like that,
register like that. I'm Batman. It doesn't make you punch with a certain amount of force to do damage. It's just about doing the right movements. You know.
Yeah.
So
plus the cape whip.
I'm
Like
Batman.
the fact that you can sit there and flip the cape and then drop a smoke bomb and
Oh my gosh! You hold
go
the trigger.
straight.
And you just do this, and you do the cape, and they get confused, and then you can like do both triggers and pull your arms up, and your wings go up, and you can fly. It's sorry,
It does a
is
very
really
good job at making you feel like you're Batman.
Yeah, for sure.
I played this game for exactly 5 minutes in my basement. You remember when you brought it over?
Yep.
And you're like, here, you have no idea how the game plays or controls.
Just go.
Just
Yeah.
go. I had
There's a
no
learning
idea what I was
curve.
doing.
And then,
for sure.
and then he violently threw up.
Yeah.
I didn't play very long. All right, moving on. Next category is coolest new character, Zach.
Come on, I got to give it to my guy Sargon on this one.
Sargon.
The
Is
new
that a
prin-
Wild Bastards
No,
character?
he's the new Prince of Persia.
Oh my God,
you're
the new
right.
Prince
Holy
of Persia.
That's
cow.
cool. That's a good one. That's a really
Yeah,
good
he's great. He's arrogant and headstrong and backs it up every time.
Yeah, that's a good call.
He's pretty awesome, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's cool.
Good call. CB?
ND5.
Indy.
From- ND5 from Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, I haven't met that character yet.
I like my Star Wars bots, man.
Yeah.
K2SO is like legitimately one of my favorite characters.
And ND5 unnecessarily wears a trench coat, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean he is cool in all aspects.
I thought you said Indy 5, like Indiana Jones. This is the 5th one. And I was
No,
like,
I know.
what?
I was like, does he keep track of all the voice actors in the games? And this
Yeah, I
is the 5th
know.
one. I was like, all right, pretty deep cut, but
No, yeah, but ND5
yeah.
just he's a cool character. Somebody like I haven't finished the game entirely yet, but somebody kind of spoiled for me like how his character arc wraps up, and I'm like, I can dig it. I can dig it a lot.
I
Need to
only
get back to that
just
game,
met
too.
him, but he seems cool.
You're just like, yep, this dude's pretty sweet.
Like the coat.
Zach, your answer is the clear best answer. Sargon. I when I was going through my list, whenever I saw Lost Crown, I think of it so much about gameplay more than story. But you're
Yeah.
right, that character was outstanding. The one I had down though was Mia from Beat Slayer, which I know nobody played. But I thought that character was fun and sassy to me. Just kicking ass and taking names. That was mine. Grant, what'd you have?
I put Tiny Terry. You guys ever heard of Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip?
No.
No.
Man, this kid. So you play, it's like a little 4-hour GTA clone, essentially, and you're this character named Tiny Terry. You're a child, you're a kid. You don't really realize that at first. You're just trying to get a car, and you navigate the city trying to get a car. You're trying to speak with people. What is the best way to get a car so you can go to space to be famous? That's the whole point of the game.
Sure.
And his writing is so simple and cursory, and there's no voice to go with it. You don't know if he's a robot or a child. You eventually realize it's really a kid, but it's just very endearing and adorable, and it's a GTA clone, and you get to steal cars and like eventually go to space, and it's super fun. So
All right, man.
he made me
went-
smile.
That escalated quickly.
Watch the trailer for it. It's super fun. If you want like a super light GTA clone, it's super fun and real cheap. So
All right.
Yeah.
Jacob,
Astrobot.
he's not a new
Uh,
character. There's been 2 games prior and a demo.
Yeah, it's got 2.5 if you count Playroom.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out.
All right. Thanks.
I lose.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, no problem.
No, go ahead. Why do you like Astro so much?
I just think he's a really cute character. He like sacrificed himself for his friends and went on this amazing adventure and never got really downtrodden and just he had a great little spirit about himself, and he knew he was going to do what he was going to do, and he did it. And
Nice.
I mean,
Cool little guy.
he had a good
Yes.
attitude about himself, and then he's got all his little costumes too. Like, come on, What's not
It's
to like
actually,
about him?
I think Jacob listing that is actually pretty interesting because it's like he did have little games before, like these little add-ons or VR experiences, but this is kind of his big moment, right? This is like the big, he's like a legit Mario platformer quality character now, right? Like, he's got to be like the new mascot for PlayStation, right?
You sure
Oh, I
should
would
be.
hope
Yeah.
Has
so.
to be. Yeah.
I mean,
He's-
I we'll see, I guess, but it's,
He's the new sack boy.
If he
my God, you're right. He is.
if he survived the things he no doubt saw in Playroom, then he's certainly cool.
Last one, Alyssa.
Mine is Sam Walls, who is the therapist from Vampire Therapist. What
the
more
cowboy?
could you want besides cowboy vampire therapist?
Sounds
There
like
it
a cool
is.
guy.
He is a cool guy. You would love him, Zach.
Put
Zach
that away.
dons his hat. That's amazing. All right, our next category is called Normally I Totally Wouldn't Be Into This Award. CB.
Balatro.
Yeah, I figured that was coming.
Just
Boo.
not something I would have normally played. So it's like, dude, you got to play this. Dude, you got to play this. Dude, you have to play this.
Yeah. And now you're hooked.
And here it is. It's my new Binding of Isaac.
Yeah. It's a lot of time I put in. I mean, it's just so easy to pick up and play whenever.
And I think that's what it is. It's the fact that like you can pick it up, do a run, especially if you start skipping blinds.
Do you ever like open your Xbox to play something else and you're like, I'm gonna play this, but Balatra's right there.
It's right there. That is a problem. Because I'm just like, I've got an hour before I gotta go. Yeah, I can get a couple Balatra runs in.
Yeah. Mine's a cheat. Okay, I'm gonna be perfectly direct with you. I struggled with
game.
this category so much because I looked through my list trying to look at games that I really liked that I didn't expect to like, and I could not find one. Any game that I didn't expect to like, I didn't like this year. I really could not come up with one. So I had to resort to one that I have not played yet, that if you had told me this game existed, there's no way I would have been into it. But after hearing Mark review this on our podcast, I have to play this game, and I don't know if it's on Mac for me to be able to do so. But the game is Proverbs, which Mark described as a combination of Minesweeper meets Sudoku, where you're doing these tiny little puzzles to unravel a massive singular piece of art that you're slowly picking away at piece by piece by piece, which sounds like something I want to play. But again, watching that trailer, I was like, oh, it's Minesweeper, Sudoku. You know, I've played that before. I'm not into it, but Mark sold me on that game, so that's why I picked it.
Is it on phones?
No, this is like PC. This is just
Okay.
like this is one you need a mouse for. Like it's
Yeah, I
all
gotcha.
about clicking,
I see.
you know, like Minesweeper kept clicking. I think I haven't played it, but Grant, what's on your totally not wouldn't be into this normally?
Balatro.
Yeah.
Card games, man. Not a card game guy, really.
Yeah.
Like board games, but not card games in digital form. And holy smokes, Alyssa.
Oh, my turn? Okay. Stars in the Trash, because it's a platformer. I'm not usually a platforming fan, but I mean, I love this one. Granted, it's very easy, but I adored Stars in the Trash, and I wish more people would play it.
Nice.
Looking that up.
Jacob?
I hate to keep going back to this game, but Pacific Drive, I was actually going to skip it. I was never going to play that game, and for some reason, I was convinced, and so I downloaded it and I started playing because I don't like extraction games. I don't like the whole extraction thing where, especially if you have like defend an area while getting out. Like I do not play. I play a lot of Division, but I do not play any of the PvP parts of the Division because I do not like the extraction shooter part of the Division. So I avoid that part of the gameplay altogether. And this is kind of, it's an extraction game because once you get what you want, or you don't think that you can do your run anymore, you call the portal that ends up being half a mile away from you, and you jump in your car, and kind of like what's Warzone? Whatever Warzone is.
Call of Duty?
The genre.
Battle Royale?
First
Thank
Battle
you.
Royale.
I couldn't think of
Oh.
Battle Royale. Anyway, kind of like in a Battle Royale, the clouds come in, and then once the clouds overtake you, you start to die. And there's 2 waves of clouds, and so there's a yellow version that starts to damage you, starts to wane on your health, and then there's a red version which just completely destroys everything. And you are going as fast as you can, as hard as you can, through the woods, over roads, through enemies, like just crazy amount of stuff that's happening. And I did not expect to like the game that much, but I wanted to try it, and now I'm hooked on it.
Nice. I'm gotta decide if I'm gonna. There's so many games I need to play. But next category, best.
Well, you skipped me.
Okay, Zach, I'm sorry.
Keep skipping, man.
I know, man.
He doesn't like any of us guys. It's just because we're just the gaming outsider.
I only skip the ones I like.
And
No, wait.
And, but the answer is a game that's been confirmed to be pronounced by its creator as
Balatro. It's Latin. It's Latin for Joker. It's
Right.
You can look it up in anything, but no one says it, so I don't say it either. But you're right. It's Balatro.
I'm gonna say it the way he tells me to
say
say it. Yeah. But anyway, I thought I needed a story for a run-based randomizer to hook me, and I was wrong. I had to delete this game off my PlayStation because every time I boot it up, exactly what you're talking about, Scott, where I was just like, well, I'll just do a quick round of Balatro before I hop into a real game, and then your whole evening's gone.
Yep.
It's a dangerous game.
Can I readjust my guesses for the top 3?
No.
Nope. Absolutely not, Scott. What are you thinking? You can adjust them after I read the list if you really want
Oh
to.
my goodness. I
underestimated Balatro.
I really did. I really did. Okay, now we can go to best tunes to chill out with. I'm going to kick things off. Zach, you know which one I'm going to say. Void Rot. That soundtrack, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Juni Veljaka. I'm going to go on a limb and say that's how you say it. Grant, the night I finished that game, if you remember, I texted you and said, dude, you got to check out this track.
This game, yeah. I remember this.
That is the only soundtrack of a game that came out this year that I have put on and listened to in the background when I was working this year. It is the best part about that game.
Cool.
It's a good game, but the music is the best part about that game. Jacob?
I don't have anything for this one.
Okay, Grant?
Unfortunately.
I put the remixes, the new music for the Paper Mario 1000 Year Door.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know the music was redone. I bought that game and didn't start playing it till like 3 months later. I just bought it when it launched. I was like, I'll get to it eventually. And then it's the same team that did Origami King remixed all the music in Paper Mario. It slams. Like there is metal in this game. It's comically heavy and goofy and strange, and it's just perfectly mixed. The whole thing. I enjoyed listening to that game as much as I did playing it this year. So that's my.
Isn't there like a badge you get where you can go back and forth between the two soundtracks on the fly too?
You can switch on the fly. Yeah, you can change. Go back to the old stuff if you want.
Good call, Alyssa.
I'm going to say Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, just because I love Final Fantasy's music in general, and it's always epic.
There you go, Kevin.
Kevin gets the shout out for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Zach?
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Nice.
There is music for every mood you're in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to say it, yeah.
I like it.
For every style of minigame.
Right, for every, even when you're walking a dog back to its owner or whatever, there's a unique pop song just for that.
There's a song in that game. Do you remember where you, when you go to, what's the desert area underneath the casino?
I forgot the name.
Yeah, I don't remember the region name, sorry.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a mini game that you're playing where like you have to destroy all these boxes in a certain number of times.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
The song they play in that part is like this metal track that I cannot find anywhere. Like I looked for it on YouTube. I don't even know what to call it, but it was awesome. It was metal. Grant, you would totally dig it. I want you to cover it sometime, please.
Can find it first, I guess.
CB?
Like Grant's now scouring the internet for some obscure.
I'm very curious. It's funny you can't find it easily, but yeah.
CB, the soundtrack to Balatro?
No, I'm gonna cheat. Just go back to the Fallout Radio.
Fallout Radio.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, like the Spotify playlist?
Yeah. Fallout Radio.
You know all those songs that didn't come out in 2024?
Nope. That's what I said. I'm going to cheat. I'm going back
Okay.
to Fallout Radio. It never leaves.
Okay.
It's just simpler to let him.
I know, right? Just moving on.
Ballad Show's got some great music though. It's a super chill.
Doesn't have the
It-
it has the
it
one
is-
song, right?
It's got a
It's
couple
just-
variations, and then it's got
okay.
it's got a different thing for the
It
boss.
does
It's like-
speed up at times.
Yeah,
like,
it
when
changes
you're
a
doing
little
certain
bit.
Things.
I forgot that game had music. I turned it off immediately.
Oh God!
Oh, I
you
don't. I'd leave it
zen
on.
out with that game, man.
Yeah, it's kind of hypnotizing.
Yeah, it's very hypnotizing.
All right. We have to go back and give it a shot. Next new category, my new waifu or husbando award.
Before we answer any of these,
Jacob's
I
first.
have to ask:
Yeah.
did video game adaptation TV shows count?
You cannot put Ella Purnell as your new waifu.
I wasn't gonna say her.
I don't think so.
Or
I mean, but you can do what you want, right?
It's
I
your-
get. I feel like an adaptation. No. You know what? No adaptations. They're getting away with it at the Game Awards. I'm not letting it in here.
Ooh.
These awards are about video games.
The gauntlet.
Okay. What do you got then,
You
CB?
We have Walton Goggins.
What?
Well,
He's
Jacob,
not in a
I
game.
knew he was going to say that.
Jacob's first anyway.
Oh, yeah, Jacob.
No, I don't have anything.
Don't
You
have
have
anything? Grant?
I put this was a hard one, and then it hit me.
Oh,
Jolene from Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. She's the assistant in the wrestling story
yeah,
arc.
dude. She
okay?
does got it going on.
She comes in. It's this thing. She has this thing where she's constantly adjusting her glasses after every
Yeah.
sentence,
And
right?
And hair over
She's-
one eye, right?
She's got mad Janine vibes from Ghostbusters, and then it
Yeah.
hit me.
Oh, dude.
Janine was a huge crush of mine when I was a kid. So I was like, Jolene's hiding something. We know Jolene's got. Turns out she has a lot going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so whatever. That's my pick. Is the frickin' mushroom girl from Paper.
That's a-
Continue.
That's a great call.
Continue.
Continue.
Don't mind me.
Proceed.
Alyssa?
Vincent Valentine from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I never played Final Fantasy VII before, and he's got vampire vibes, and I'm all for that.
Yeah, you like those broody vampires?
Oh yeah.
He
Okay.
was the real Ghostbuster.
I was swore you were gonna say a cowboy vampire. Like you were gonna like bring it.
No, the cowboys
to
don't do
the-
it for me. Just the
Yeah.
broody vampire.
Gotcha.
All right, I take that personally.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Zach.
I thought I had a chance.
It's because I live in Alabama and
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
see a bunch of
Well,
it every
they're
day.
a bunch of losers anyway.
That's Zach at gaming us.
Attacking all Alabama men.
All at once.
Right,
What's
the whole
yours, Zach?
state. Throw it out. Just the men, though. For me, I picked Spider Rosa from Wild Bastards.
Yeah.
She's got a nice little Latina accent. She's got those extra hands because she's a spider woman, half spider, half woman.
Oh yeah.
So who knows what she can do with all that? You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure she's probably getting a little bitey, but I'm okay with a little bitey.
Getting a little bitey.
Little bitey.
Yes, a little bitey.
All right,
Bite.
CB.
Bite me, Spider Mommy.
Yes.
Well,
Right,
as
right.
usual, I went on both sides of the coin. So I have Kay Vess from Star
Yeah,
Wars Outlaws,
she's super cool.
and then Titus from Space Marine 2.
Okay.
All right.
Got to have that endurance.
See, that's you like those dominant men, huh?
the 9 foot tall, clad in armor.
Yeah, I mean, they're big.
Right.
I mean, like I said, if you got to flip on both sides of the coin, man, I mean, you got to pick something.
They do have that scene in the beginning where he's just in shorts.
I know, very very jacked man.
All right.
I struggled with this one. I did not play a lot with a lot of characters that resonated with me that way, except for one that
Is it the
Is a
spaceship?
sequel.
Is it a spaceship from Miniature Adventures?
no. I mean, it's I the way it just hovers over the land. No,
Look at that fine booty over here.
I feel like this is a repeat of one from a previous year, but Aerith, Final Fantasy
Yeah.
VII Rebirth.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure this was a 2020 pick of yours as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it had to have been. It had to have been. But there's just nothing that topped her for me. Aerith is great.
All right.
Tifa's better.
Definitely.
Shut up.
But
2 more, guys, before we get to our personal favorites. This award is, well, the best, well, damn, I won't be forgetting that anytime soon award. Alyssa, what's yours?
Well, mine's very personal for me, and it's not really like a shocking thing, but it was seeing my cat in Stars in the Trash.
Yeah.
Just on a memorial wall. I'm not going to forget that for a very long time, and I can always just go back to the game and look at it and see her there. So that's
Was it? I haven't
really
played
meaningful.
it, and maybe I've asked you this already, and I apologize. But was it like a photo, or was it like a pixelated version?
It's a photo.
That's awesome.
They put it right on the wall. Yeah.
Very cool.
Wow.
Very, very sweet for you. I'm happy that was a cool thing for you to do. Zach?
this is tough, but I think I'm landing with the myriad prince-related twists in Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Okay.
There are many plot twists involving princes in that game, each cooler than the last, and just the way that all untangles, especially the last reveal that is optional, is very cool, and I don't think I'll be forgetting it anytime soon.
Awesome. Jacob?
So I play a game called Sulfur. It is basically like a roguelike shooter.
That the one with the flat characters?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that game to be as gory as it
Yeah.
was. And the first time it was one of the first times I was using a shotgun, and there's these little goblin babies. They wear diapers, but they hop at you and they sound like babies. I shot it right in the face, and it blew. It's like literally on the floor. There's an item called brains that was on the floor, and its skull was showing, and teeth were around, and there was blood everywhere. And I was almost mortified as to how much detail was in these little 2D people. And then I went on to play the rest of the game, and it just got worse from there. But yeah, that little moment of like coming around the corner and just like shooting this thing in the face, and then having it like all over the walls and its brain sitting there and whatnot. It was just crazy to me.
That game looks really interesting, actually. It looked fun. CB, what do you got for, what are you going to not forget anytime soon?
The opening chapter of Space Marine 2.
Yeah?
Just that battle. Just everything like rolling down the hills. Like you're like, this is impossible.
There are so many enemies on the screen, and it feels like a war movie where you just see the wall of enemies coming at you, but you are in it. Not like you're seeing it in the distance. You are in it. Right?
And it's dude, it's so memorable. Like I legitimately like started the game again so I could play through it again, because you're sitting there with the other guys and you're just sitting there just going to town, and you're like, at any point in time you're like, and I'm gonna get overwhelmed, and you're just a badass, and you're like, I'm gonna keep going, and then you look up and you just see more rolling down the hill, and you're like, no.
Like Starship Troopers level of enemies.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
Any sequence in that game where they were like trying to climb up the walls and you had to shoot them off of it and whatever, it's like full panic mode.
Oh yeah, or like some of those like where you're like just in a canyon and they're just coming from so many angles.
Yep.
Mine is from Astrobot. I'm surprised nobody had a favorite moment from Astrobot, because
there's so many.
There are so many. I did narrow it down to one, but I don't want to spoil it, so I will try to be vague for those of you that have played it. It's one of the bonus levels, like after you beat the boss. It's a very recognizable game, and the moment that sticks out to me the most involves a Jeep. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think I smiled bigger in that moment when there's like I think it's a Jeep on its side or something in the water.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? And it was just like when I realized what was happening, it was a moment where I was smiling so big I didn't even realize I was smiling so big. I was really like, oh my God, I have a huge smile on my face. And I haven't experienced that in a game in a long, long time. Just an involuntary smile. But like Jacob said, there were so many little moments in that game that will stick in my memory. The time you discover a certain raider of tombs. That moment was pretty awesome. There are just very and the fact that there's so many things that I did not know what they were from. they give you like a tiny little clue, but it's just vague enough that it's not in your face as to what it is. Like, I don't know. There was like a black and white screen with a dog on it jumping that I have still no idea what that's from. Like, so many moments in that game, but the Jeep one in particular, the music played in that sequence was like a remix of the original music from the original game. Absolutely perfect. Grant, what's your most memorable moment from the year?
This won't mean anything to anybody except for maybe Alyssa, but the first time you pray in Indica.
Oh, yeah.
You play this game with headphones, really good sound design in this game, or crank it, but the first time you pray is something else. And I keep still ringing in my head, so that's mine.
For sure. Sticks with you.
I have to play that game. All right, our last award. I can't remember if this is a new one or not, but this is...
I did we do this before, or did I make this up?
This is all new, all Grant.
Did everyone answer this, or I didn't know if anybody would actually do it?
I did it.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Hey, Tim.
Rad.
Tim Pollen's here. What's up, Tim?
Tim?
It's about time.
I didn't say hi to Dallas either. He's actually one of our vendors from...
It's about Tim.
There are those who call him Tim. Grant, why don't you introduce the last category since this was your baby?
Sure. I just had an idea of like, if there's something cool in a game that you wanted to highlight, you could say best blank of the year, and it could be anything, and you just fill in the blank with your own answer. So that was the impetus for this. Just another fun thing to do.
Do you want to kick it off, or how do you want to do this?
Your name's
I guess
first,
I will.
Scott.
My name's not in here. Oh yes, yeah, I am in here. Scott, you go first.
Hey,
My name's not here. I'm not part of this.
Yeah.
So mine should come as no surprise, but best use of an IP in a digital pinball table from 2024.
Oh wow, good one.
Because there's a lot of them, but that
There's
goes
a lot
to
of them.
the Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. Yep.
Princess
Yeah,
Bride.
Cool. Good one.
Great table. Use the actual dialogue from the movies. I love that table. I still go back to it regularly and play it. I did it on
That's a good one.
purpose. I didn't have to miss. Jacob.
Best environmental storytelling. Crime scene cleaner.
I thought you were gonna say Pacific Drive.
Yeah.
You're gonna say what?
I thought you were gonna say Pacific Drive.
No.
Crime scene cleaner.
Change it up. So you're a guy that gets like inducted by the mob to start cleaning up crime scenes and stuff, but you walk into these areas and there's just blood everywhere, and there's little notes and things that are in certain places, and as you're cleaning up, you can kind of see how events started to unfold. There's the weapons around, there's the blood trails, there's different things, there's whatever, and so you kind of figure out where people were when things happened and how they happened and where they escalated and ultimately met their end.
Cool.
And so it's really cool. There's one that is specifically a pool party, and I think there's seven bodies you got to get rid of, and each one has this very unique way that they died, and some of them aren't even because the person that went there to kill them killed them. They died by accident, and you just it's just part of the mess. If those bodies are found, you gotta they're going to be an investigation, so you gotta clean those ones up too. And so your character's literally going, "You guys are dumb." So yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Coolness.
Grant.
He's not here.
Not here. There's a shortage of car games this year, generally, which bums me out. But so
Have you played Pacific Drive?
I have not, but it's not on Xbox. I would have, but it's not on Xbox. So when it gets there, I'll be playing that. I'll be playing Silent Hill. I'm super Pacific Northwest, alien-ish horror stuff is like my Twin Peak. Like I'm right there, but it hadn't gotten to me yet. But I put best drifting, and I gave it to Parking Garage Rally Circuit. I didn't actually realize I mentioned this game twice, but I'm doing it. So best drift of the year
Best drifting
goes to Parking Garage Rally Circuit. There you go.
I
Very
like
good.
it.
I like it too.
Alyssa.
Mine is best none, and that goes to Indica.
Yes.
All of those nun games that came out in 2024.
This
I'll
is
tell you
working. This category works. I gotta get one of my faves shouted out. We got pinball talk. It's all work. It's all coming up.
It's pretty good. That's pretty good,
great.
Alyssa.
Great.
You want to
That's
explain
none.
that any further, Alyssa? Or are you
I think it explains
Um,
itself.
I actually did play a game that had none in it, so
Oh.
there was competition. I mean,
Oh.
Indica,
There
she's
was.
special because she hears a voice from someone that could potentially be the devil. So she's got some layers to her.
Alyssa just nunning it up over here.
She's my favorite nun this year.
this year?
This year.
Hey,
None of
leave
the
her
year.
alone. She's
2024.
having none of it.
Oh Lord.
Zach,
Well, I actually came up with two. One's negative, one's positive. Am I allowed to do both, or should I just pick one here?
You do whatever you
Do
like.
both.
it's your category, man.
All right.
Both.
The best set me free of the year goes to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League because the alpha was so boring and bland that I no longer feel obligated to play a video game just because it says DC Comics on it, and thus it set me free.
I like it.
Mhm.
That's
Wow.
very creative.
Thank you.
I like it.
And then the best holy shit I get two of these award goes to Rogue Prince of Persia. Because after
yeah.
14, I know it's not technically out, but after 14 years, I got two Prince of Persia branded things in a year. Are you kidding me? So that's pretty exciting.
It's true.
Good call. And CB.
Best surprise use of an actor, and for me, it was Tony Todd.
Oh,
Oh,
as the giant.
I had no idea that he was in the game. So that first, like, when he's just right there, I'm like, that's Tony Todd.
Yeah.
yep.
Feels like the Candyman's here.
It was pretty cool.
You know about an indie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I did get that far. The opening scene.
That's good. Good job getting 5 minutes into the game.
I got farther than that.
I think he's also
he
on the
just-
cover, but I also didn't notice him there.
It's pretty crazy you didn't get to see that because he passed away in November, so he didn't get to see that game come out. So
Yeah.
it's nuts. But good, out with a bang though. That's
Right.
a good
It
roll.
was sad because I was also supposed to meet him last year, so
Oh.
Oh, bummer.
he had to pull out of one of the conventions that I went to, and I was like, dang it.
Oh,
Well, that's it, guys. That's all of the award categories. Now it's time for the moment. I'm so excited for our 2024 Go personal favorites. You guys, if you've been sticking here for the 2.5 hours, we've been sitting here
Hey man,
waiting to hear.
we're here to celebrate video games. It's going to take a while.
It is going to take a while.
Kevin, do you have a drum roll? Do we have something for that?
it's just him going. Brrr,
You usually do that at like the top number one. But so
So
if this is your first time for our Game of the Year episode, we do things kind of our own little spin here. We have all of us have given our list to Grant. None of us know what the others' top 10 lists are. He is going to be revealing the overall Gaming Outsider Game of the Year based on our votes. So our number 1 game gets 10 points, our number 2 game gets 9 points, and so on. And Grant has provided a list for us of all the games that showed up on at least one of our top 10 lists. Are you going to go through the entire list, Grant? It's a pretty big list.
It's up to you. Here's what I'll say is that like we did a couple notes. I'll get into the data stuff in a minute, but I will say that we did include all the Gaming Outsider staff for this. So
Mhm.
there's the community stuff too, but we have 11 people because I included all the writers as well. So back last year we had 51 games that were in the list. This year we have 63 games in the list. So it's like, first of all, it's incredible. 63 games actually showed up in these top 10 lists. I think that's
Mhm.
nuts.
Wow.
It's up to you if you want me to like blast through them. I can blast through them.
Do
If
it.
you want? You want it?
So many. Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
do it.
All right. Another
Quick,
Crab's Treasure, Astrobot, Balatro, Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden, Batman Arkham Shadow, Battlefront Classic Collection, Bingle Bingle, Black Myth Wukong, which I forgot even came out this year, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Catastrophic Inversion, Children of the Sun, College Football 25, Dark Forces Remaster, Dragon's Dogma 2, Droz, Duck Detective, The Secret Salami, Earth Defense Force 6, Enshrouded, Farming Simulator 25, Final Fantasy 7, Rebirth, Funko Fusion, Galactic Glitch. See, I don't even know like some of these games. Halls of Torment. This isn't even the community's list. This is y'all's list. Helldivers 2, Hypercharge Unboxed, Indiana Jones, Indica, Kong, Survivor Instinct, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Locomotive, Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, Madden 25, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Minds Beneath Us, Mini Shoot Adventures, New World Aeternum, Pacific Drive, Pal World, Paper Trail, Pickle Cross, Story of Seasons. I did say that, Pickle Cross. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, Proverbs, RoboQuest, Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven, Satisfactory, Shadows of the Damned, the remaster, Silent Hill 2 Remake, Sonic X Shadow Generations, Star Wars Outlaws, Starship Troopers Extermination, Still Wakes the Deep, Stuffed, Sulfur, Tekken 8, Talisa Edge of the Abyss. This means Warp, Unleaving Until Then, Vampire Theorist, Void Rot, Warhammer 40k, and Wild Bastards. That's it. 64 games. Didn't need to do that. Don't know why I did it, but we did it.
Each one of those, I'm like, okay, I know who picked that
Right.
one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
totally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Farming Simulator, Jake.
Wild
No.
Bastards gets best yeehaw of the year.
Yes.
Yeehaw. Well, I don't know.
And-
Does Vampire Therapist do a yeehaw? Like, we don't, maybe.
They do actually have yeehaws in
Is
that.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
Best yeehaw of
That's
2024.
funny.
I want to yee your haw.
There you go.
What?
So I'm going to tell you guys some fun facts about this list of games. It's a big list, right?
Okay.
Of those 63 games, 46 of them only show up on one list.
Wow.
Okay, so there's a lot of variety. Obviously,
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
cool.
We're talking about
That's
a
good.
top five, a whole lot of like onesie twosie games, a lot of indie games. There's a pretty bit. Compared to last year, there's a bigger number difference between 1 and 5. We're just going to count down the 5, but this year number 1 had twice as many points as 5.
Oh,
So
okay.
what that basically means is you guys just agreed more on some stuff, like near the top.
Well, that
There's
sucks.
a consensus for some stuff. The total points this year, 583 points. Not a single one to Crazy Taxi. I have to point that out every year.
So
You guys don't change.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything. I keep trying. It's the only reason I'm here is to sing a praise for Crazy Taxi.
Sega get cracking on that remake.
Seriously, I know. So, as you know, and I will say there are no ties. So last year, if you remember, there was a tie for number 1. You guys remember what they were?
Dead Space and
Alan
Alan Wake
Wake.
2?
You just said it. Yeah, Alan Wake and Dead Space. You got it. So no ties.
We're a survival horror crew at the Gaming Outsider, it seems.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's true. Well, they keep putting out good ones, right? So
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
are we going to do? So we're going to start at number 5 and count to 1. Does all made sense so far,
Right.
what I've said? All right.
What?
Yeah.
Wait.
Mhm.
Didn't
What?
we all make predictions, or is that afterwards?
He'll let us
I
know
was gonna
after.
I was going to let you know after.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Because then you'll
Okay.
know. Otherwise, you might know too soon if what number 1 is. So
All right.
number 5. This was on 4 lists.
Okay.
4 of the 11 made it on 4 people's lists.
Interesting.
No one had it at number 1,
Okay.
but it did make number 5.
Wow, that's
it's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay.
Number 5.
There you go, Kevin.
Well,
There you
I've
go,
already,
Kev. Yeah.
I've already lost the top 3, I guess.
The
Yeah.
highest was on Alyssa's list. She had it at 3,
Really?
so that's as high as it got.
All right.
But
Can-
there were enough people that liked it that it made it to 5.
Can I ask,
Yeah.
did any one of us actually get all 3?
What do you mean all 3? No,
Like the top 3? Okay.
no.
Of course not. Come on.
Dang it.
Listen, number
There
3,
were
yeah.
points. I made points. So you get a point for the game being mentioned, and you get a point for the placement. And so
Oh,
two of you
okay.
tied for the winner for
All
that.
right.
But
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
get
not winning,
Okay.
guys.
Number 4. No, was not number 1 on anyone's list.
Okay. It's interesting. It's interesting that how I love when they so it was high enough on everybody's list to get to number 4.
Yes,
You know, it's crazy.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's slow and steady wins the race, right?
Right,
It's like
yeah.
if everyone
Mhm.
puts it at like 3rd, it might be the consensus, right? So the highest it was on anyone's list was Chris B's, and it's Star Wars Outlaws. So
Oh,
number 4.
Okay. I miscalculated.
Lame,
Number
I'm out. See you.
Is it?
Number 3. This was number 1 on someone's list. It was number 1 on Scott's list, and it's
Uh-oh.
Balatro.
Real? Okay.
It made it.
I
Number
thought,
3.
it was going to be Astrobot number 1 for him.
Yeah. Nope. Number 1 on Scott's list. Number 2. This was number 1 on 2 lists. And it was on 5 of your lists total.
It's got to be
Indiana,
Indiana.
Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones number 2.
That was
Believe
number
it or
1.
not.
Wow.
That was number 1 on 2 people's lists.
It was number 1 on 2 lists. It was at number 1 on Chris's list and Zach's list.
It was number.
Oh, Zach had it at number 2. Zach had it at number 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say number 2 for my list.
Yeah, it was on. It was number.
Yeah, we
number
all
one
know
on
what
Chris's
Zach's
list.
number 1 is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I know what Zach's number 1 is. And the number 1,
Cowboy Simulator.
number 1 on 3 lists. And it's Astrobot.
Yeah. Okay.
So Astrobot
Right,
takes it.
there it is.
There it is.
Got that one
Astrobot,
right.
Game of the year. Can't be mad about that pick.
No, you really can't. I had you all guess what you thought the top 3 were. So you get a point if you get the game, and you get a point if you get its place. So we have a tie for first. We got Alyssa and Kevin. I'm including in here because he is very here. But Alyssa and Kevin got 4 points. Alyssa said Astrobot, Indy, and Silent Hill.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And then Kevin said Astrobot, Rebirth, and Balatro. So one of you got 1 and 2, and one of you got 1 and 3. Anyway, there you go.
Nice.
Impressive.
It was my
work.
third one that I was off on.
Yeah.
Darn it, Zach.
Yeah.
Ruined it for me.
I underestimated Balatro.
How did I?
Yeah, I think a lot of you did.
So the Gaming Outsider Game of the Year.
How did
is
I? Wait, how
Astrobot.
did? Yes.
Is Astrobot. Yeah.
Well,
Believe it or not.
I'd put Balatro, Astrobot, and Prince of Persia: Lost Crown.
Oh,
I thought that game would be higher.
December.
At the beginning of the year, I thought it would have been 2. They wound up number 4 on my list.
It was number 3 on my list.
I think it was down around like. Oh, where was it? I'll just look. It was what are we looking at here? It was number 6.
Oh, really?
So
It's close.
Yeah. So it was right there. It almost made it. But yeah, not quite.
So
Yeah, I called Astrobot, but I was
Yeah.
way off on the other 2. I did not think Indiana Jones would be a number 1 on 2 people's lists.
It's good,
Yeah.
man.
It's true.
That
It
is a
is.
shock.
it is very good. I assume my miscalculation was that people didn't have enough time to check it out, but
Yeah.
I guess I was wrong.
Well,
It's
I chose
interesting.
to check out Silent Hill 2 instead of Indiana Jones over Christmas break. So who knows where that would have landed if I had finished it.
Yeah, maybe.
I do wonder, like, if Indy had come out in February and Prince of Persia came out beginning of December, would that have affected the voting at all?
Like the
You know, how much
recency.
recency bias
Yeah.
with Indy?
Mhm.
I'm
I
curious.
think that Lost Crown's issue was not as much timing as it was price. I think that price hurt that game
Mm,
for a lot of people.
yeah.
For me, I had to do like a thought experiment of trying to remove the IP from the game because I couldn't decide which was my number 2 between Prince of Persia and
Mhm.
Indiana Jones. And I
Mhm.
think just the core game, I enjoyed Indiana Jones more.
Cool.
So that's how
It wasn't Wild Bastards.
The Wild Bastards is my number 1.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Wild Bastards is his number 1.
But it was,
Grant
it was the
misspoke
only,
earlier.
Yes,
Oh.
I did. I did.
but that was the only game on his list. Or that was the only list that game was on.
I'm just
Yes,
glad I
yeah, I'm quite
Yeah.
sure it is.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. It's the sequel to the other
Void Bastards,
Bastards,
yeah.
Void Bastards. I just forgot about it, and I saw the list come in, and I was like, "What? What? What?" And so I had to go reading about it, and yeah, people love that game.
Yeah, that's
I need to check that out.
it's pretty good.
Well, moving
if you ask
on.
anybody but Scott who's played it, it's pretty good.
Hey, I'm not gonna yuck your yum, man.
Hey, I don't care. You don't. You know.
I tried it, but I need to maybe try it on a different platform. I think that game does not do well on Switch, so I'm hoping that's the case. But Grant, as our
Sir.
illustrious guest, we want to hear your top 5, man.
Oh yeah, my top 5. I didn't submit, so I'm not included in the list or the communities either. I just did my own thing because I'm here. It's my
Rude.
show. Do what I want. Number 5, Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. Loved that game 20-something years ago. Still great today. Number 4, I put Indica. It's gotten a lot of mentions today,
Yeah.
but you should play it. It's
gotta
real good. It's not
should.
long.
I gotta
It's
frickin' play Indica.
the gamification of religion is a pretty good little thing they do, and
Evangelical
I highly-
for years.
yeah, there you go. It's short, great sound design. It's great. Play it. For number 3, I put a game that no one listed. Have you played Have you heard of Fear of the Spotlight?
Yes.
I've heard of it.
No.
Haven't played it.
It's Blumhouse, the horror movie company, started putting out video games. This year, this is their first title. It was actually published last year, and they shut it down because Blumhouse came along and was like, "Hey, we'd love you to help you like re-release this properly." So, first game came out. It's kind of like it's like a PS1 art style horror game in the style of Resident Evil or Silent Hill.
Speaking of so hot this year,
yes,
that art style is
seriously,
big deal this year.
big time. Really, really good. Really basic, but way creepy. The cool thing about this game, it's not very long. Rolling credits is really only half the game. The whole game, if you play it, you'll get the credits in maybe 3.5 hours, and then there's another half a game to play. But it's awesome. It's so good, and it's mostly just the puzzles and fun parts of Resident Evil and Silent Hill. So I loved it. It's great.
Nice.
Number 2, Prince of Persia. And number 1, Mini Shoot Adventures.
Wow.
Number 1 was Mini Shoot.
With a frickin' bullet. That game is perfect. I love it. It's fantastic. It's got everything I like. I didn't play a lot of big AAA games this year just because I didn't have time or the interest. But I fit a lot of indies in, shorter games. That's the theme, except for Paper Mario, obviously. But yeah, Mini Shoot, man. I just want to play it again. I even did the boss rush stuff at the end.
Wow.
And I don't even do that kind of stuff in games. I'd fall off, but yeah. Just awesome. Great
I'm
music,
so glad
too.
you love that game, man.
Oh,
Just
great.
charming, and it just felt good.
It did.
It was the right amount of difficulty for me. Loved it. Good call.
Cool.
Next up, we also polled the community and asked them about their top 5 games, or their top 10, and you did the same math, but just for listeners.
That's right. So we got listeners posting on Facebook and Discord. And number 5, similar. It starts similarly. Number 5, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, a game that showed up on no staffers list.
Interesting.
Oh.
Wow.
Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh,
Not a single one of you 11 put that on your list, which I
That's-
thought
I didn't
was
feel right.
interesting.
I didn't finish it, so
Not even Scott.
Yep.
yeah.
Number 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
Yeah.
A lot of people put specifically like campaign in parentheses, and I think that's kind of a thing. Some people are just jamming on, they're
Yeah.
prestiging, and other people just really thought the campaign was good. But
I really want to play
collectively,
the
number
campaign.
3.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Indie, and number 1 is number 1's Astrobot.
Oh, okay.
So-
Hey,
There you go.
Astrobot.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Alyssa, what was your number 1 game?
Until then.
Oh, until then. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow.
I love that you love the numbers part of this, Grant. Like seriously, it makes me so happy.
Yeah. Do you have any fun numbers facts beyond what you shared already?
The ones that were interesting are pretty much what I'd said.
Okay.
I mentioned that like some are just kind of, watching the total number of games grow. In 2022 we had 36. In 2023 we had 51. And this year we had 63. Now we also included more people, right? Like we did the writers. Last year we had 7 people. This year we had 11. But there was still a jump. But that's most of the fun kind of stuff. I was looking at like the point splits and everything. But it's fun to see how many. I always love the thing where a game could just win by getting a bunch of third places.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's just when you're talking about a consensus, that's how it can work. It's kind of funny how that
Astrobot was
how
just
that
so
happens.
good this year.
it really was.
What was the gap between Astrobot and number 2? Do you know?
Yeah, there was about let's see, it was 7 points.
All right.
Oh,
7-point difference, and then a 6-point drop to Balatro, and then it's kind of like 3 and 4 for a little longer. I'll say Final Fantasy only got 2 points more than Prince of Persia, so
Wow.
Prince of Persia was right there.
Oh man.
Yep.
Should have dropped it at Final Fantasy just to boost Prince of Persia.
Tim Pollen put in the chat and says #justice for Brotato. That game is pretty fun. It's pretty underrated.
It is pretty fun.
I had a good time with that. Okay, before we get out of here, got a couple more things to wrap up. Actually, one more thing to wrap up, and that is going to be most anticipated games of 2025. CB, what are you looking most forward to next year?
Alien Rogue Incursion,
Yeah.
because that got delayed. Cutie Booty Delivery Duty 2.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna be all there for that. And my third one was Dark Pictures Anthology Directive 8020.
Okay.
What is that? Directive? Is that a new? I like the Dark Pictures stuff. They have a
They
new
got a
one.
new one coming.
Sweet.
Yep.
Cool.
It's sci-fi or sci-fi horror this time, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Put that,
Yep.
put that on my list too.
Jacob,
There's only one game that I'm really looking forward to.
I know what it is.
I think
Farming Simulator 2026.
No.
No, it's
Go
Monster
ahead.
Hunter. Monster Hunter Wilds.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saw
that's
that
the only one that
coming.
I'm really looking forward to.
All right, Alyssa,
I've got 4: South of Midnight,
that's on mine.
Judas, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, and Directive 8020.
I
Nice.
missed that.
For me, I get to get this in before Grant does. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Number
Sorry,
one.
what?
Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Never heard of it.
South of
They-
Midnight is also on my list. I don't understand why people are crapping on that on social media. Or maybe, they
I
don't
think
like
it's
to
pretty
do
easy
it
to figure out why they are.
because it's social. Cause it's,
Yes.
oh,
Because it has a black woman in the lead role. That's why.
is that what it is?
It
Yes.
was
Uh,
cool, man. The game was cool.
I just don't even think about that when I go
No,
to play a game.
No,
Like,
no
Yeah.
rational human does.
Doom: The Dark Ages looks rad.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, the game that I've been predicting for 5 years, except for this year, and we finally get a new Ninja Gaiden game. So,
So that's what I was saying. Stop talking about it. It
I
will
know.
finally happen.
right.
That's why you guys keep Metroid Prime 4 this year. Nope. It'll be next year then.
Nope.
You're so wrong. That's happening. Grant.
A little game called Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
I put on here Shadow Labyrinth, which is that weird Pac-Man game they
Yeah,
showed
dude.
at the Game Awards. Looks
I-
so silly.
I think that we're in the minority of people that think that looks cool.
It's so strange. It looks. I hope it is weird. I hope it isn't just.
That's the
not
one that's
good.
got the new use for Pac-Man, right?
Yes, he's like a
Yeah.
little satellite
Yeah,
thing, and
absolutely
there's
wanna try
dots
that.
and.
Did you guys
Um,
watch the Secret Level episode with it?
No,
Mm-mm.
Oh man, I guess I don't
I
want
haven't
to
watched any of those.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away, but I would watch the Pac-Man episode because it got me even more excited for Shadow Labyrinth. It's only
Okay.
like 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only.
It's pretty
Um,
short, Jacob.
Compared to
put
some of
in-
the other things that I've done.
Well, yeah,
That-
I know,
that
I know,
sounds
I know. It's quadruple your evening
Twice.
but
Any
I
others,
put in-
Grant?
Yes,
I
I
walked
put in.
into that one.
I put in a game called Tricky Madness, which is a fan sort of like reinvention of the SSX games. It's on
Oh,
early
yeah.
access right now on Steam. It's pretty light content wise, but it controls great. I put Baby Steps. I don't even have a PS5, but I still need to see that game in action.
Uh-huh.
Sonic Racing Crossworlds. We don't know anything, but I really like Sonic Racing Transformed, and I'm hoping this one might actually be fun.
Well, I
'cause
mean,
the last one wasn't.
we know Shadow's in it.
But yeah, we do.
What more do we need to know?
Shadow's a thing. I put the console release of UFO 50. That's the reason I haven't bought it yet. I want to play it on my TV. I don't want to play it
Yeah.
on my computer.
I mean, it seems like a
Um,
no-brainer. I mean, they're trying to recreate NES and SNES era games, and it's on the Nintendo platform.
There must be some mouse controlled game. It just seems strange they wouldn't. It's
Yeah.
the Spelunky guy. Like, why wouldn't they just go ahead and
Right.
put it on
they
all the stuff? I
they
don't
have
know.
the
That's
money,
part
yeah.
of also why I didn't bite even when it was on sale because I just kind of am expecting it to come to console.
Yeah, it's gonna be there eventually.
If
I
it was on
assume, but-
Switch or PlayStation, yeah, I probably would have bought it caved. But
Yeah.
And then I just put anything else coming from Blumhouse because their first game was great and they're really good with the horror stuff, movie stuff. I hope they do good stuff with games too. So we'll see.
Nice.
That's my list.
Zach.
yeah, I got a few here. This is only a few weeks away now, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, can't wait. If I beat the first game in time. I got the collection edition pre-ordered from GameStop, which is in the nick of time before they go out of business. I'm also very excited for South of Midnight, as you guys are. I think the game looks incredible. I'm stoked for Mafia: The Old Country. Can't
Yeah.
love Mafia, love. Clair Obscure Expedition 33, I think looks awesome.
That's the one that I forgot to put on my list. That's the one where like it's the numbers in the sky and some of that
Oh,
age
yeah.
eyes, right?
Yeah, like the painter in the sky paints a number, and everybody that age dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I thought about that one while Grant was reading his list, and I was like, I couldn't remember the name.
dude, it looks like an incredible turn-based, I guess, a JRPG just made in France.
I don't have any of those.
RPG.
Number 12.
Oh, heavenly.
Then I do want to mention Bounty Star: The Morose Tale of Graveyard Clem. Supposed to come out 2023. Supposed to come out 2024. Hopefully, finally, It comes out in 2025.
That game looks great.
It does. I know Annapurna had some problems that pushed it back. But then the game I'm most excited about is Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's,
Ooh.
yeah, I know it's a monster game, obvious choice, but I think it's going to be pretty darn good.
But have you heard of this little indie called Metroid Prime 4?
I actually forgot one that's on my list because I just received notification like a couple days ago that it's finally coming out. But Ghosts, it's a live action paranormal discovery game that I
Not heard of
kickstarted. I kickstarted
Oh,
it
okay.
5 years ago,
Oh my god.
Wow.
and it's finally coming out. But it was written by Jed Shepard, who did the movie Host.
Oh,
It
okay.
was on Shudder. Yeah, it's finally coming out. So I'm like, please. It's a really cool concept. So look it up.
There's two
The horror
hosts.
movie?
There's two host horror movies. There's the big animal in the ocean.
No, not that one.
There's
Not
the
that
streaming one. The streaming one.
Yeah, the
Okay,
streaming,
that was
yeah.
cool. That was cool.
I really thought he meant the monster in the water one.
I was wondering.
That's what I would've-
I love both of them.
I love
Yeah.
that movie, but yeah, I like the other one too, but for different reasons.
Mhm.
All right, guys, that is it. Our 2024 favorite games of the year discussion is officially closed. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our choices. Again, Astrobot is our number one game of the year. Coincides with the Game Awards. If you would like to contact us, you could do so at feedback@thegamingoutsiders.com or on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/groups/the Gaming Outsider. Don't forget, we've also got a Discord server. There's a link in the show notes. Grant, Henry, thank you so much for being here, my friend. It is always a
problem.
pleasure.
Oh, it was great. It's so fun. I love the number stuff. I love video games. It's great hanging out with y'all.
And it was so good to see you in person at R2V2.
Yeah.
Hauling cabinets together.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. We did stuff. We
Yeah,
did
dude.
manual labor and rock and roll.
Yeah.
And drank. It was great.
It was a lot of
good time.
fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
Loved it.
there's matrimony involved, I
Yeah.
think. Somehow. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's always we got to have you. I think we did have you on an episode mid-year this year. Like we didn't wait just for the game of the year, or we did a
We did
Patreon
something.
episode with you. Yeah. I think.
Maybe we did.
So thanks again for being here. But I want to say thank you to my co-hosts. You guys are awesome. Zach, Jacob, Chris, and Alyssa. You guys got any final words or anything you want to recommend to our listeners before we get out of here?
Just a thank you to the Gaming Outsider community. Thanks for everybody who's watching us live. It seems crazy to me that you would want to do that, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know this. This community is pretty awesome, man. So just thanks
And
for
let-
another
and-
year of letting us do this.
And let us know if you like this live thing, because we could make this a thing in the future. So this is like a trial run, as it were. Jake?
So we are starting a community on Steam. You can find us at the Gaming Outsider Groups. We will be posting or trying to post some video game reviews on there. Trying to start something there. So there's only me for right now, but once we get it off the ground, we'll be posting more about that. But you can find us on Steam now as well.
Awesome. Somebody in the chat says, yes, the episode of how music is made for games.
Oh yeah. That's what we did.
Yeah.
We did that. Yep.
Chris?
Here's to a good year, guys, because last year sucked.
Well, it can only go up from here, right?
Hopefully.
I thought it was a pretty good year for
It
me.
was a rough year. It was a rough year.
Shovel
Well,
down sale.
Zach got married and went to Japan, so
Right.
it's pretty good for him.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Alyssa?
Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Just thank you to everyone that, listens to the podcast, reads our reviews. You guys are awesome. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for letting me be on the podcast and for being wonderful people in general. I love you all.
Awesome. I got a quick recommendation. I'm late to the party on this, but I just recently started, thanks to CB allowing me to do so. I am watching on Paramount Plus the latest version of The Stand.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really well done. I've read the book. I've seen the original series or the original miniseries. This one is fun. for a reason. I won't spoil anything, but there's lots of disposable characters in that story, and they
Yes.
fill those
Mhm.
disposable characters with really fun cameos that are great, but not in a distracting way. It's pretty cool. I really, really like that, and the tone is awesome. I already know where the story's going, but I just want to see how it's played out. So, The Stand on Paramount Plus. Really dig it. That's going to do it for our 2024 wrap-up episode of the Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for watching live on YouTube. We look forward to interacting with all of you for another 12 months of gaming goodness as we look to make some positive changes for the go. As always, you all are an amazing community, and we can't wait to see what's in store for us in 2025. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.